It's another day. It's another moment. It's another privilege. And another opportunity to be here this morning with breath in me, with the strength, mentally stable. All I can say is thank you, Lord. I'd like to say good morning to all of you. Thanks for joining us. Welcome to the OK Morning Rush. Thanks to Fatou Kamara, who was here in our place yesterday because of other issues. Thank you, Fatou. You're always by my side, making sure you're moving when issues are at hand. Today is Thursday, 4th of September. Today is a special day in our family. My auntie Shirley Dan Kemon is celebrating her birthday today, and of course, you know, it's a big day when one auntie is celebrating. It's a family celebration. Auntie, your husband, our in-law, Mr. Odate Kemon, and the children, everybody, Sami and everybody passed by this morning to say happy birthday to you. And I know Auntie Nora is going to be there to sing the Bobo Napo song, you know. Auntie Shirley, happy birthday, man. Okay, we are here to talk about some of the things we're supposed to talk about. President Boakai made appointments in the government last evening. The current president of the Liberian National Bar Association and president of the West African Bar, Councillor Bonan Varman, has been appointed to head the Law Reform Commission, where Associate Justice Councillor Waka Kanen used to be. Now he's on the Supreme Court's bench, and so he will be replaced by a brother from Bapolu County. Bapolu County is winning bigly, right? Congratulations, my friend, Councillor Bowman Varman. Although your appointment is subject to confirmation by the Honorable Liberian Senate, but congratulations on the occasion of your nomination by the President. Okay, good morning. Thanks for joining us. All other persons celebrating birthdays today, along with Auntie Shirley, happy birthday to all of you. Let's take a break. We'll be right back here. Today's a rainy day. Sure. Okay, we'll be right back.
Liberia, it's time for a new journey. A journey of power, performance, and reliability. CCAR Motors has rebranded. Welcome to the all-new CFA Mobility Liberia, your trusted provider of world-class vehicles, motorcycles, and trucks. With Toyota, experience, strength, innovation, and adventure like never before. Built for Liberia's toughest roads. You need power and performance? Mitsubishi delivers toughness, efficiency, and performance for every job. And for those who move fast and ride with style, Yamaha Motorcycle provides unbeatable speed, durability, and comfort. At CFA Mobility Liberia, we don't just sell vehicles, we provide expert servicing, genuine parts, and lifetime support to keep you moving.
Visit us today and experience the new CFA Mobility Liberia.
Same trusted quality, brand new experience.
This on me with an emergency. How do I manage again?
Potano, why are you sitting here just talking by yourself?
Julie, I need money quick. I want to go find somebody to credit me. Then I will pay them as soon as I get paid with the more in.
EcoBank can credit you, but the only thing you have to pay in 1 month, and the good thing, the interest are just 3%.
For you?
Yeah, just go to any EcoBank branch and you ask for the form to enroll you on their salary advance platform. When they give you the form, you fill it up and you make sure your HR sign it. Then you take that form back to the bank. After you carry it to the bank, they will send you a message to let you know that you're already on the platform. Then you can use the *326# and request for 50% of your salary. Instantly, you will receive it.
Wow, just like that? Pray edit to more money today. I'm going to the bank to pick up the phone quick.
Yo, go get the form quick. In less than 1 week, you receive the money. And what I like about it, and they can't even ask you for collateral set.
I go with there right now, no wasting time, oh.
I'm not saying you must not go there right now. You must make sure you pay the bank money back.
Hey, Judy, that you talking so, I will pay back quick so I can credit again. EcoBank not easy, oh. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
Attention to all lovers of the good things in life. A house is not a home, and a home is the one place where you should feel relaxed and accomplished. Your home should reflect who you are. So, it's time to make that upgrade with minimal damage to your pockets. And I have the perfect solution for you. Home Sweet Home, located on Benson Street, between Center and Buchanan Streets, got you covered. From the kitchen, we have air fryers, juice makers, pressure cookers, freezers of all sizes, and all the modern kitchenwares you can think about. From the bedroom, we have top-of-the-line, exquisite beddings to give you that great night's sleep because you have earned it, and soft, comfortable towels for your bathroom. And in the living room, we have high-definition TV sets of all sizes, unique aerial rugs, classy curtains in all the colors you desire, wall paintings of different sizes and colors, furniture, and everything you can think about for the home. All that at unbelievable prices. We even have low voltage, high quality washing machines and dryers to keep your clothes fresh and new at all times. As a bonus, we have fashion accessories for both the young and the old, designer quality bags, hats, and rare jewelries. So if you love yourself, your family, and your home, it's time to treat it right. Visit Home Sweet Home on Benson Street between Center and Buchanan Streets for that needed upgrade. You can call them on 0886 834 944 or 0770 581 420. Home Sweet Home, for the love of a classy home.
Where you dey go? Where you dey find?
Why they ask me that kind of question? Say where I dey go? Where I dey go? I dey come. don't hit my car.
You Menju, why you walking and talking all by yourself so?
My sister, that my car business are really thinking about so to get car in this country is really not easy. Since I put in for my cars and other goods, it is almost 1 year I can't get anything.
But it says stranger who always asks don't miss their way. Haven't you heard about urban used cars and auto parts?
You mean urban used cars and auto parts?
Yes. Urban used cars and auto parts is 100% Liberian-owned business. With urban used cars and auto parts, you can purchase your new cars, used cars, and all cars parts directly from America for an affordable price. Urban used cars and auto parts can also help you ship your barrels, your boxes, containers, and other goods from your relatives abroad within just 4 to 6 weeks.
Wow, this is a good news. Where can I find urban used cars and auto parts?
If you are in Liberia, Urban Used Cars and Auto Parts is located Fish Market, Tottenham Boulevard, Monrovia, Liberia. And in the USA, 220 10th Street, Brookhaven, Pennsylvania, 19015, United States of America. You can also visit their Facebook page, Urban Used Cars and Auto Parts International, or call cell number +231 887 012218.
Thank you for this information. I am visiting Urban Used Cars and Auto Parts to begin the process of my car and other goods.
Urban Used Cars and Auto Parts. Our goal is to allow Liberians have access to buying things from America without being cheated.
Buy things from America and other places without being cheated. Welcome. This is the OK Morning Rush. It's on 99.5. Today is Thursday, 4th September 2025. Happy birthday to Auntie Shirley Kemo and all of you celebrating birthdays today. Let's go on our page to read the names of some of the people who've joined us. Prince D. Jackson Playboy has joined us from, I know, his Banga resident. Good morning, Playboy. Say morning to everybody over there. Vanin Sisse Junior has joined us. He says, good morning, Piso. I'm following from the Jokpetown Market. Charles Coleman joins us from somewhere in Liberia. A Bendera Suku. Good morning, Jackson. Following from the Katakuta Republic. Where is it? What is he talking about? Ansu Coleman says, good morning from the Economic Freedom Fighters of Liberia. Charles Coleman is watching from Atlanta, Georgia in the U.S. Ralph Stevens says, good morning. Following from the township of West Point, Vinicius Bar Jr., Mombo Zukai, Alexander Samin Daniel Tente will join us now. Asumana Kamara Abu is joining us from Kolba City, that's Kolam District. Chris Cholope, Isaac Mensa Armstrong, Ivan Opa Vamakan, Roland Jackson, Lee Banja, Emmanuel Sagbori Senior, J. Waluba Gaming, Gazi, that's Kezi Kape, and to all of you, all the other people who've joined us, Alice Lopie, Alice Lompie, Clifford G. Travers Jr., Joseph Dolo Nya. Good morning to all of you. Thanks to all of you for always joining us. Let's go to the Executive Mansion website or its Facebook page and announce some of the new measures President Boakai a few days ago, I think it was on Monday or Tuesday, President Boakai announced reduction in the prices of flour and rice. The president has issued another statement. President Joseph Boakai has announced a reduction in the wholesale price of eggs as part of his government's ongoing price stabilization efforts, following recommendations from the Presidential Accord Committee on Price Contradictions, chaired by Vice President Jeremiah Kpankun. The wholesale price of a carton of eggs has been reduced from 60 to 50 United States dollars. The announcement builds on earlier measures by the government, which secured reduction in the prices of other key staples. Rice at US $15 per 25 kg bag and flour at US $35 per bag to ease the economic burden on citizens and protect customers against arbitrary price hikes. President Boakai emphasized that the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, along with relevant inspectorates, is on strict instructions to ensure compliance with these adjusted prices. He cautioned that anyone found inflicting costs outside the official rates will face the full weight of the law. These reductions reflect our determination to fight for the ordinary Liberian and ensure that basic necessities remain within the reach of every family, President Boakai said. The president commended Vice President Kun and the committee for their diligent work and assured the public that further measures are on the way to address the cost of other essential commodities on the market. That is what the president has done. In a related development, President Boakai has nominated and appointed additional officials to key positions of government, affecting the Law Reform Commission, the Governance Commission, the Local Government of Margibi County, and the National Food Assistance Agency. These appointments were applicable as subject to confirmation by the Senate. Those nominated and appointed are Law Reform Commission, Councillor Bonan N. Vama, Chairman; Councillor Masa Jaliba, Commissioner; Governance Commission, Mr. Matthew Balakoli Jr., Commissioner, National Integrity System; the Local Government of Margibi County, Reverend John W. Smith, City Mayor, Marshall City; and National Food Assistance Program, Minister of Agriculture, Minister of Internal Affairs, Commerce, blah 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 blah. All the way. Yes, there's been conflict in Marshall. I think we talked about that once upon a time. There was a mayor who was appointed there, and every time either he went to take over or every time he went to work, there was agitation. The people didn't want him. The people said he was not, or he is not, a resident of Marshall, and the president should not have nominated or appointed him in that position. So it's always been issued there. It has always been issued in Marshall. I hope the appointment of this new person will lay it to rest. Now, the president announced reduction in the prices of flour and the rice, and now he has announced reduction in the price of egg, the carton of egg. Instead of $60 now, the president said it's $50. Very good, very good. It's important for the government to be very sensitive to the plight of the people it is governing, so that people will stop some of the complaining, so that people are able to go to the market with their meager resources, to be able to purchase things. It's a good thing, very good thing. Rice price, egg price, flour price, these are the everyday, basic commodities. People will use the flour to make their donut, to make their bread, to do their this, to do that. Rice is our staple. It's an everyday thing. People buy rice every day. Eggs, people use it to do different things. So it's good. It's a good thing that the government has started to do. My kind of thing is, I'm still concerned about a few things. One, is the government going to make some intervention in the context of providing subsidy to maybe importers of the staple, to say, instead of selling the red dish, instead of selling it $14, right? Sell it $12 something. We'll make few dollars, we'll make few cents as our contribution, or we'll ensure we waive few cents as our contribution. I'm just thinking, because to announce this is good. At the moment, other people will still tell you, other people will in fact still tell you, say, but the rest will have it, nana. We pray ever since so that in the government now we gotta wait until we say our rest. The government say the Ministry of Commerce will work with other agencies to ensure compliance. Okay? But my kind of thing is, with the government, is it going to be a continuous process? If it is a continuous process, what are the measures the government going to put in place so that it will continue? Maybe by providing some subsidy to ensure there is a balance, bring the price down, but at the same time, maybe the importers will not be paying what they were paying, to the government. So the government will take the bullet, the government will take the high risks, the government will feed the pinch, in other words, because the government will waive some few cents so that the rice price will come to that level. I'm just thinking whether this is the case. The same thing with the egg. I know there are a few Liberians here who may be doing eggs right here, but majority of the eggs produced in the country, I'm told, come from outside. So, how it's a good thing the Vice President Committee tries to do. How did they derive at all these strategy for reduction? I hope they can find some time to explain. The committee can explain. I am also hearing that what the Vice President Committee did but again, they will have to say what we're hearing is true, is that they did some comparative analysis. They were able to get invoices from outside the country, especially some of the places the eggs and flour and other things are coming from. They were able to get invoices from Turkey and other places, and they brought it home, and they were able to meet with some of the people who were importing these commodities, and they sat down, and they and these people had some discussion. That is what I am hearing. If that is the case, then that's a good thing. I'm just concerned because, and again, I am not sure any government wants to do arbitrary. I'm not sure the president can just wake up one morning and say, from today, the price should be this. And this is one of the reasons why I think the committee was set up. I'm inclined to think that probably, the committee had meetings with some of these importers of these different commodities. They had some discussions, they brought invoices, and they did comparison to say, look, it can't be like this. We will take the pinch, we'll waive the one, but you got to drop it to the one. Let all of us agree on something. I am thinking that these are the kind of things that happen because that is how it's supposed to be. But maybe coming further, the Vice President Committee will come to explain to us how did they derive at the recommendations to the President, and in terms of sustaining these prices, how long will it take? Were the business people involved, these different importers, were they involved? Did they agree to these things? What loss will it cost the government too? Because obviously the government will have to take some of the pain now. When you want to be sensitive to the people, sometimes you take some of the pain. Taking some of the pain, for example, maybe if you are bringing one carton of egg in the country and the government had 10 cents on it, if the government tells you to drop the egg price, maybe the government will say, since you are paying 10 cents to us, drop the price, then you pay 5 cents to us. That other 5 cents you paying to us, it will go towards whatever, those kinds of negotiations. That is how most of these things are done. We just hope that's how they are done, and because it's good, but sustainability is important. If people are able to buy rice with a $12 something government talk about, and the $50 for egg, and over a period of time, then at least things are coming down. Because our experience in this country, sometimes the governments, not just the governments, sometimes governments can try to reduce the price of gasoline and other things, but sometimes transportation price will not change. Nothing, the price of anything is not changing. Right now, the U.S. rate was $200 for a little over 2-3 months. Yesterday, I want to change money. Somewhere the guy tells me it's dropped to $192. So I just telling him, but nothing is changing, because even if the thing price go up to $300, nothing going to change. That it has even dropped, you ain't going to change anything again. So these are good steps by the government. We just hope that they met and discussed with these different business people, because the business people to need the government to need them. It's a collective responsibility of everybody, and that is where understanding is supposed to come in, and all these things. Yeah. Like I said, the sustainability aspect is important, and I think the committee needs to, even though it is still working, the committee needs to go further. Yes, it is an attempt to address the issue, but if it was like disease, I would say you are trying to address the symptom, but the cause of the problem is what we need to tackle. That way, we will find lasting solution. Don't get me wrong, it's a good step by the government, by the president, by the committee. It's a good step. I am particularly concerned about sustainability, because as it is, what the president has done, what the government has done is the symptom. For a few times, the symptom. But the cause of the disease, the cause of the problem, the cause of the egg carton being $60, the cause of bag of bread being this, the cause of bag of flour being this, the moment the government can tackle the reasons why these things are like this and solve it, then we're not going to go back to after 1 year or after 2-3 months April. The reality too is sometimes there are global things that can take place. That one, when it happens, all of us will know. All of us will got different access to different social media or international media. When there are global issues affecting some of the prices of these things, we can know. I'm just saying it's a good step. We need to go further. We are attacking the symptom, yes, which is good. The cause of the problem, when we resolve it, then we resolve it once and for all. Yes, so As Councillor Bonavama will be going for confirmation. Yes. Exactly. As Councillor Bonavama will be going for his nomination, subsequently, when he gets confirmed, the vice president of the bar will ascend to the presidency. That's how life is. And then I don't know what he's going to do with the president of the West African bar, because I'm not sure a government official will be in that capacity and at the same time president of the bar for West Africa. I'm not really sure. I think you have to give that one or two. The man he succeeded got another job and he just became president, so probably he will have to leave. Another person will ascend. Yeah, I'm concerned because the issue about scarcity. Because if the committee doesn't do its work very, very well, in the next coming weeks or the months, you will start hearing about scarcity. Wow, people will start pulling back. People will not want to bring it in, or people will be hiding there. But if the committee met with everybody, get the different people from different countries, from other countries around or here, do the comparison, convince the business people, call them, it will be good. Like I said, I'm not sure the committee, they didn't do that because nobody will want to come out arbitrarily to just announce the price of basic commodities on the market without freshly meeting the people involved and all these things. So, man, people, what did the GSA people say? They say what? Internal memorandum to all employees and visitors from Boima A. Sony, Director Human Resource, through Honorable Joseph P. Sloan, Deputy Director General for Administration, subject forbidding dress code. That's how they call it, forbidding dress code, as if the GSA was something like Kino Gali School. They said date September 2. Dear all, please observe the below forbidding dress codes on the GSA compound. The security staff are strictly instructed to enforce this regulation for all employees and visitors entering the compound. Imagine. Shower slippers, men or women. Obviously, who won't carry shower slipper to somebody's office? I mean, skin tight. I don't know what they call it, skin tight here. Sleeveless blouses. They say what? Spaghetti sleeves. And they know they need them too. Short skirt above the knees. Short dress above the knees. Short trousers / men and women. Muzzle arm shirt. I'm not sure somebody won't carry muzzle arm to wear. Track suit, men and women. What are you talking about? They say what? Tight cut around jean trousers, men and women. Tight jean trousers, men and women. That won't make me laugh now. They say what? Push a beer. Like Clarence Jackson's beer. Push a beer. So the beer again enter. They might beer one again. Can't enter GSA compound. Push a beer and push a hair for men. Artificially grown, dreaded hairs by men. So they might be. So GSA is saying, for me now from today, I can't enter that compound. Even though that I left my hair to be. So the GSA now, that fashion police, the GSA, it has left its main responsibility now. That they're doing fashion policing now. They're guiding people, telling people how to dress and all. Look, that Liberia issue there, yeah, that Liberia issue there. Look, people should be able to decide how they want to keep their hair. Bushy beard, bushy hair. I don't want to start pointing people also, but I know some deputy ministers and assistant ministers in the government, they got bushy beard and bushy hair. GSA telling me the people will not enter GSA compound again. The deputy ministers and assistant ministers and the directors and I get a bushy beard and a bushy hair, they will not enter GSA. Look. And so when I saw this thing last night, I decided to reach out. Somebody in GSA in management said they were going to come back, but the person made me to believe that the HR and the people then they just did their own thing. When their bosses saw it and started calling around, everybody was shocked. That's why initially I heard the person said they were going to call me back. They didn't call me back, and I didn't want to believe that, because before this kind of internal memo is put up, it must be endorsed by the senior management team. So I really know how you tell people don't come here with bushy beard, don't come here with bushy hair. So that's why I'm asking. Because I can sit down here and give you a long list of government officials whose beard and their hairs are bushy. So they will not count me, but I will not count it. GS, but what I can go to GS and say, I can count it because my beer bush already. I mean, can you imagine as if I thought we should be talking about system changes instead of talking about people beer and people bush hair? No, yeah. Robert Clark wants me to do a very special birthday treat for Reverend Edward, that's Edwin Gapu Sherman III, the pastor of the First Baptist Church, Oldest Congo Town. Reverend Edwin Gapu the Sherman III. Robert Clark wants me to do birthday to you know. So we decided to reach out, but again, they said they were going to call me, but they didn't call me. How do you restrict people? Yeah, I can understand shower slipper, reasonable, but I'm not sure somebody want to bring shower slipper. Somebody will not want to bring you know, shower slipper, muzzle on. But when you say tracksuit, what you mean? If somebody wore their good, you know, who do the whole suit, somebody wore it, their tracksuit, the whole suit on a Friday, for example, and go to work. How is that going to undermine what the person going to do? The person comes to his or her office, sits in the office with a bushy beard or a bushy hair. How is that going to undermine the work of the GSA? How you want to do the thing like you something on police? Okay, the president of the Lofa County University, Dr. Isaac Podat, and others have been indicted on allegations of corruption. Remember, the other time I spoke to Dr. Podat on the line from Vanjima, when one Mamo Kamara, one guy called and said the president and others were eating some money and those kinds of things. And the president called and the president said it was lie. And the president admitted that time that the GSA was investigating him. I think, I'm not GSA, but how do you call it? The Anti-Corruption Commission, the LCC, was investigating him. I think following the investigation now, they've done indictment. Republic of Liberia, Lofa County, in the 10th Judicial Circuit Court, Lofa County, blah, 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 before His Honor, Nancy Finasami, before her honor, Nancy Finasami, Republic of Liberia, by and through Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission, the plaintiff. So it is the LCC that have taken the people to court. Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission plaintiff versus Dr. Stephen. Let me do this, then I'll be able to make it bold. Dr. Stephen K. Ngaima, the former president of the Lofa County University. Dr. Isaac P. Poda, the current president of the Lofa County University. Mr. Katakao, vice president for academic or for administration. Mr. C. Creton, administrative assistant. Peter Taylor, controller. Mr. Aliyu Kamara, Amara Sharif, Vamuya Kane, and Molisiki, all of the Lofa County University. They are the defendants. They are charged on multiple allegations of economic sabotage, fraud on internal revenue, misuse of public money and records, theft and illegal disbursements, and expenditure of public money, theft of property, misapplication of entrusted property, criminal conspiracy, conflict of interest, and of office for private intent. I don't know what it was. Indictment, economic sabotage, fraud on internal revenue of Liberia. The grand jury for Lofa County, Republic of Liberia, upon their oath, do hereby find more probable than not that you defendants, Dr. Stephen K. Ngaima, former president Lofa University, and all the people, Dr. Poda, with criminal minds to commit a crime purposely, knowingly, willfully, and intentionally did conspire, collude, facilitate, and did do and commit the crimes of economic sabotage and all the other crimes, blah, 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 in violation of Chapter 15, Section 15.80, Chapter that section of the new penal law of Liberia, Title 26 of the Liberia Codes of Law revised, a felony of the first degree. Wow. First degree felony, to wit, that in December 2022, the acting, okay, let me come to Dr. Poda on time because I want to way back. Okay, on September 6, 2024, Dr. Isaac P. Poda was appointed as president of Lofa County University with board members. On January 16, 2025, the Office of the Comptroller and Accountant General finished a report on the outcome of a payroll audit of the payrolls of the Lofa University, outlining the following discrepancies: that the Lofa University payroll adjustments were handled by the controller of the university, the Civil Service Agency, and the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning, and that 13 ghost names were found on the approved payroll of the university on the payment voucher for September 2024. Blah blah blah. Let's go. I'm coming, my friends. I'm coming right there. I want to download most of these things. What did they say Dr. Poda do in this thing? That's what I want to go to right here. This is the morning rush. I'm coming. Let me take this forward and see what did they say Dr. Poda do. What did my young friend do here? That inland of the U.S. $3,350 requested as mentioned on January. No, it's supposed to come from somewhere. I'm coming from. Okay, this is the indictment. This is the first. Okay. I want to go straight somewhere. What did they say Dr. Poda do and where? Most of these things they are seeing the controller. Okay. That on September 9, 2024, a check in the amount of Liberian dollars 32,500 was raised and paid in the name of Mr. Malik Colley, driver to Dr. Poda, president of the Lofa University, as payment for vehicle maintenance without any evidence of repair or maintenance work on the vehicle of the president. That on November 18, voucher in the amount of Liberian dollar 103,000 plus was raised, signed by the accountant and the VPA, representing payments for the purchase of fuel in 1 month for the office of the president. On the November blah blah blah, a check was raised in the name of Connect Omega service station and received by Moses Flomo. The payment in the following category as listed below. They listed all these things here. That on October 8, 2024, Anthony Creighton, acting executive assistant to Dr. Poda, requested for daily subsistence allowance in the amount of $175 on behalf of Dr. Poda without indication or reason for travel. On October 8, Joseph S. Cannon, chief accountant, sought the approval of Mr. Daulu Katakai, the vice president, blah blah blah, president for administration, the vice president for administration, for payment US 175 for DSA payment to Dr. Poda. On October 8, a check in the amount of 175 was written in the name of Dr. Poda. What kind of check being here on the thing? Okay, but listen. So the president of the Lofa University and others are being indicted on allegations of corruption. Remember, on our jurisprudence, there is a presumption of innocence until proven guilty, and only by a court of competent jurisdiction. So that is it. Dr. Poda is in trouble. I like to say it that way. And there are a lot of calls. I see a lot of calls on Facebook for the president to suspend him, because they said when others are implicated and they are indicted, the president can suspend. So why is he still sitting? Well, the president knows that. But again, like I said, this is an allegation. The government will have to prove it in court, but Dr. Poda and others have been indicted. So we are going now to Nima County, hearing something terrible again from Nima County. From 8 o'clock straight to 10 o'clock, Liberian businessman, politician Simeon Freeman will be here, the political leader of the movement for progressive change. the MPC political leader, Simeon Freeman, will be here on a 2-hour interview from 8 to 10 o'clock. We'll look at different things. Franklin Doloku is reporting that an 8-month-old baby, I didn't say 8 years old, I say 8-month-old baby was allegedly raped in Nima County. By whom? Franklin will tell us. Franklin, good morning.
Good morning, Clarence. Good morning.
Franklin, did you say an 8-month-old baby?
Yes, an 8-month-old baby was allegedly raped by a 23-years-old man in district number 7. It's a town called Bankoi.
Yeah, so tell us, how did people get to know what happened?
So they were having, they are twins, so they have a party in the town, and the woman left in the room, and she had gone out to form paradise and the party, because the party was around their house. So it was predicated on that. People were sleeping when the suspect, Mervyn Yibo, 23 years old man, entered the room and carried on this act with a little child. This really number of 2 few years back, around it, there's a town called right there between Anti-Secretary Highway District number 8. 38 years old man, his name is said to rape one old baby, and the baby died in the process at that time. And this is the second incident for a 23 years old Mervyn Yebo to come out to rape 8 more.
Has Mervyn admitted to the allegation?
Well, Mervyn has been charged. Yes, he has been charged and has been sent to court by the police in Secretary.
What did he say to the police? Why did he do that?
Well, Mervyn said he don't really know what happened. He don't know. I know he said it's the work of the devil, but he said he don't really know.
It's a work of the what? Why it can be his work?
This is what he's saying. So when we spoke with him yesterday, when you were taking him to the Senate court, the Secretary by a serious court, this is what he said. That it is the work of the devil. On the other side, too, Khan has returned as normal activity has begun in the city of Ganta.
Yeah.
Following the reburying of this motorcycle. You know, the cycle was buried and by the deceased family. And those that grieved motorcycle went while the bereaved family left the place. Those that grieved cycle went and they removed the body from the grave and they took the body, placed on the motorbike in Ganta. It's not parading with the motorbike in the first street in Ganta that led to the riot of recent.
So they've arrested the people who've been accused of killing the motorcyclists?
Yes, 2 of them have been arrested, but they are not currently they are in Bangapong County, because what happened was that they wanted to set the police vehicle for the country. They wanted to set it at place so the driver managed to escape. He passed around some way, he entered Duo. From Duo, he
There's a road from Nyantoyans, Bunadin, all the way to Duo. You cross the bridge and get to Yopia Junction, and then you're on your way to Banga. I know that whole route. Thank you very much, Franklin Duluk. I don't get that. What do we call justice? I really don't get that. So, a motorcyclist is killed. People assume or people know that he was murdered. Police gets tip off. Police arrest the accused for allegedly killing the person. Then group of people go to the police station and say, "Yo, put the people outside. You ain't put the people outside. We'll burn the police station." I don't get it. That mentality will have to change. If you burn the police station in Ganta, where do you go to complain people when your rights are violated? We just need to give the security people time to do their work. How can somebody, they kill motorcyclists? Everybody say, "Oh, that the people, we know the people." Maybe following table, police arrest people and put them in jail. Why can't we be happy to say, at least the police have arrested people, we look forward to the investigation, but people go to the police office and say, "You ain't put it." Where in the world you see police get suspect to people? Say, "When you put the person outside," in most cases, they will just go, sometimes they overpower the police and they burn the place. But when they burn the place, the police will have to pull out. No police. So you there, everybody causing trouble, everybody police. I mean, I don't get this one yet. All of our leaders, as we go on your vacation and in these places, educate our people that look, this is not the right thing to do. Every time the police made an arrest, allow the police to do its job. Let's open the lines. 0777 700-995 0555 995 995. You can comment on some of the issues we've been talking about. And then at 8 o'clock, Mr. Simeon Freeman, political leader of the Movement for Progressive Change, will walk in here as our guest. Good morning.
Good morning, Clarence. Piso Jackson. Clarence, this is the voice of Tabu Rasta. Piso, I'm joining this all-important conversation this morning from Point 4 to be exact with you, Clarence, in Zimbabwe.
Okay. Raja, one day I will come visit that place, man, to see you.
Clarence, we the people of purpose. Since I told my chairman, can you imagine, we can't sleep for your business. Look, Piso, among all the generation in like your is just bad.
My man, when I can't order your mouth before, I short, you don't, and I'm one huge guy, I'm very short. When you see me, you will say, wow.
My love for you is not about tall or short, but Clarence, I just love because Clarence is very balanced.
Thank you. Go ahead. Thank you. I just wanted to eat that.
Clarence, listen to the real issue. Look, Clarence, I'm recommending to the war and Liberal Alliance. Clarence, anyone caught in the act of confronting police officer, please let them go to jail for 20 years. Let them go to jail for police officers are our country. You don't fight Liberia. Why are you rejecting the police? The police are our brother. They are our sister. So Clarence, let them go to jail for 20 years. But Clarence, forget to the issue.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm going to be on the scene that day like I was raping that baby, I don't eat more baby. Hey, Clarence, but now Clarence. What Clarence, take more baby? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I know. Abu. I know. Hello. Good morning. Good morning.
My name is Joseph. Joseph here for you on Power Road this morning. Let me say thank you for your topic on discussion. I want to appreciate the governor of Lagos, Ebelenzo President Baba, on the reduction of things prices in the Lagos market.
I forgot to ask. I don't even know whether the reduction applies to locally produced eggs on the market too. All these questions we need to know. That's why I say the committee will have to come up. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and the government is having some challenges, but I think they are making effort. We should applaud them for that. Because some people who even sell eggs are having to go to the real shop also to pay narrative to have a carton of eggs. And now the government is coming to say if you buy eggs, it's safely out. So we are telling us it's not 10 hours. So I think it's applaud to the government.
Okay. Hello. Oh wow, this sort of long. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Good morning.
We are good.
Okay. Clarence, let's go straight to the point concerning the federal that raped the little child. Clarence, this morning I hearing this, making me to feel like my whole spirit now it leaves me. Yeah. When you announce it as sharp, 8 months old baby, Clarence, if I were around there, next time I think myself, I saw bitch or I put the arrest them.
Bro, you can't take the laws into your hand. That's not what the law says.
Yeah. So, Clarence.
Okay, my friend. Good morning. Good morning, yeah.
Good morning.
Good morning. Let's hear you.
Thank you so much. Hey, I appreciate it.
Yeah, I enter in GSA. And Eric Paye, you two, your push head on. You're not even coming around to people's office. So I can't go there. You just say you can't go there. I get push Pierre, you get push here.
Sometimes I eat there most of the time too.
But you're not going there. You go there today. The man say the security will not allow.
My man made small mistake. He's a very good gentleman. I think it was just an oversight. He's a very good guy. I think what the men that they work left, they people that can slash their trousers and other things, sleeveless things. Yeah, skin there, that one can go through, but there are other things that should not be mentioned. However, let's come to the issue of the vice president project. I think you see me, when government does right, I'll praise government. They do wrong, I'll criticize them.
That's how it's supposed to be.
And the reduction in the prices of these commodities is a good news for our nation. However, there's this little thing I will push in, and I hope people will listen. Clarence, people were like my friend Jallo were body and in a conversation with me, he said, hey, what do the people want me to do? Because if you boil goose, at this point of time, you boil your rice. And the government are giving at least 2 weeks ultimatum to these people. So that way they have cleared the goose, the board with certain prices. Then
I'm hearing that the reduction is affecting everybody. But even I'm even hearing that the people who are locally doing it are the people who are, I don't know how true they want it. They say that the people who even increasing the price.
Effective immediately, and in all fairness, I think the vice president coming from a business background is I show he's handling this well, but I think the ultimatum they want to give at least a week or two so that the people who have cleared their storage. However,
you don't think both the committee and these people agreed to this? I'm still getting it out of my head, except I want the committee to come to explain.
Because if people don't go to the zero communities, the places where people go to the car where Clarence and all the places, they don't go to the people who get their shops and things that wear bought goods. No, I should talk with the people on top.
No, but even the best way to do it, you can talk to everybody, because when you talk to the people who are bringing the commodity, and they agree to reduce the price, it will affect the people who buy it from them and carry in the community. Because, for example, if I was buying it $5, and because of the negotiation, I go now to buy it $4, I would know automatically that price has changed. So when I'm carrying it to the setting,
my point is, what if you bought it goods 2 weeks ago? You bought it at $5. Now they say you should sell it at $4, but you have already purchased for $5.
Oh, okay, that's a reason. That's a point.
If you have given me a week or two, that way we clear our storage. Going down to buy, we don't follow with it. But yesterday, the price there has lower. We too now will lower our prices. That's
okay,
where
Eric.
I'm trying to get.
Thank you. I reason with you, but please change your eating place. Not GSA anymore.
I'm going there on Friday. Johnson Floyd myself pie. What I
I beg you, but you want to go to GSA right now? The men attend to GSA attend to faction police. They telling people how to do your hair now, how to do your beard. Oh, hey, God, I swear. Hello.
Morning, Clarence.
Good morning.
But I just want JZ compound. I don't know how. But anyway, my name is Focus.
Focus, wasting that your bushy beard, they allow you there?
Clarence, as I speak, I just want JZ compound. Maybe the boss have not come, and that's why.
No, maybe the security man ain't coming out. I try to go by the 12 o'clock. You not enter.
But you know, Clarence, one thing really caught my attention. But thank you for the opportunity, Clarence. I think you're doing well, Clarence. I have much to say. Eric have just stressed one meaningful point. When government do things that are positive, we should be able to acknowledge. I think President Boykai, to my understanding, he's more likely a listening president, action-driven president, than a public talking president. We want to say thank you to him. Something very quick caught my attention. I want to bring it to the attention of the president. Southeast, Grand Crew is dejected. Even though I want to remind the president, Grand Crew is dejected. No ordinary grassroots Grand Crew citizen is being factored in the government. We want to remind the president it is very key.
You think so?
I'm very clear. I'm talking about at the appreciable level of the government. No single grassroots. You can remember in President Weah regime, I flagged the same issue. We had Gigi Nabodem, be vaccinated from one position, Minister Maritime. And the same man, when people are saying from Grand Crew, they see people neglected Grand Crew and even said that he's not from Grand Crew. Maritime, bro.
No, Eugene not from Grand Crew. I think Eugene from Maryland.
No, Eugene carries from Grand Crew from Southtown.
Okay, anyway, maybe you know him better than I do. I mean, I'm not arguing that.
But I want to learn all the issue of the rape issue. Clarence, for me, I think we need to bring some international protocol to kill people who.
No, we can't do that. We're beyond that.
Clarence, it is important.
But no, we shouldn't be having. Foka, you and myself should not even be having these kinds of conversations. I mean, it's not. No, it's not. No, man. In the 21st century, Foka, it shouldn't be coming from you and myself, my brother. Let's leave it. I know it hurts. But it shouldn't be coming from us. I mean, it's not possible. We are signatory to a lot of international instruments. I can agree with anybody who say we need to amend the law. Probably, I don't know if the punishment are not harder or harsher, if you like. We can do it that way, but you know that word. I mean, it's not possible. We're not going to do that. Hello.
Yeah. Hello.
Good morning.
Jackson.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm Wonto Wama. I'm calling from Finance Retailer.
All right, Mr. Wama.
Mr. Jackson, that price reduction for the past 7 months, we've been buying rice. I sell rice retail. We've been buying rice $14. Fulani been selling rice $14, and K&K and other companies they sell the rice $16.75.
Yeah.
And they give you offer. If you do it at the agreement, you know that the rest is all. Can offer they giving you everything your expense is $14 buying in total. So automatically that price reduction is not affecting the retailer. It's only affecting the wholesaler. Again, buy rest $14 and bring it on the market instead of $14.
No, for example,
yeah.
If the wholesaler, the people can sell to you, right?
Yeah.
If they drop the rice price, I think the government said $12 something, right? Am I correct? Or $14? Which one?
No.
I gotta go back there.
Read that.
No, but I mean, let's just talk about. We can make the sense without going to the price, right? If they were selling maybe that, if they were selling $2, and the government say it should be $1.50, will it not affect you positively because you were buying $2? You're gonna be buying $1.50. So when you carry to it, you gotta drop your own price.
But I agree. But what the president pronounced, the president pronounced on factory and input price. He didn't discuss retail price. That's my argument. So
no, but wait now. Let me get something clear. Now business retail, for example, that the people that can sell the rest in a community where I want 2-3 cup of I go buy it.
No. In the shops, we are go buy from
the people. You only sell it by bear in the shop.
Don't carry in the shop or in the store.
Oh, but if you were buying it at a certain price and few of the dollars drop, will it not force you to also drop your own?
No, but red price dropped long time for the past 7 months. And Clarence, how much you pay for red?
So
the local market that paid 2009, 3000.
So the one the government just announced has already been in existence. Is that what you want?
They're existing. That's what I'm saying for the past 7 months. That's something strange for the past 7 months. People have been buying red even 2015.
Okay, so that is your point. Your point is if the government wanted to do reduction, it should have gone below what it announced.
Below, at least tell the importers that.
Okay, I got you. Without saying what you're saying is true, but I got your point because you are in the business. Thank you.
Let Commerce come and tell what would be the retail price. But just buy rest $14 and sell it in the stores or shop $14. It doesn't make any sense.
Okay. If that is your point, I got you. But that's what I'm saying. Let me take a final call here. They guy with normally not call. I mean, call the radio off. Call the radio. I thought no quarantine in Johnsonville. Yeah, good morning. Go ahead.
No, Clarence, how you say quarantine in Johnsonville?
Henry, go ahead. I beg you.
No, so I listened to the other guy who just spoke the last clip. So I think it has not been 7 months, but the last few months, rice price have dropped because I normally buy rice to carry on a farm. In Kakata, I noticed rice was sold in Kakata for 2,800.
Okay.
And why it was sold in Monrovia for 3,200. So that has been a confusion for me.
Okay.
Yeah, so we hope that this will stabilize the price across
Thank you.
The region, because if you carry rice in Kakata, obviously the price should be higher than in Monrovia. But why people selling rice in Monrovia a higher price when they just buying from the wholesaler right in Clarence or Bartown?
Thank you.
And then people carry to Kakata is a little bit cheaper.
Thank you, Henry. We're not taking any more call. Our guest is here. I am told Eugene Nangwe is actually from Grand Crew. That's where his parents are from. But they had them in a place called Hoffman in Maryland County. That's where he was born. So okay, now I see the clarity. Well, we can now take our guest, my friend, my former friend, because I've not seen this man. Every time I ask for him, they say either he in South Africa or he gone Nigeria, he's some kind of place. But he's here. He's the political leader of the opposition movement for progressive change. His name is Simeon Freeman. He's our guest this morning, and this interaction is going to take us straight up to 10 o'clock. Mr. Freeman, good morning. It's always good to have you on the show.
Good morning, Mr. Clarence Jackson, and good morning to the people in Radio Land. And I just want to give a special thanks to you guys in the media community. It's not an easy thing to get up early every morning, drive from your faraway distances. Where do you stay?
I stay almost around Carisbury, I can say that.
Oh, so you drive from that far, and you're here at 7 o'clock every morning just to run the airwaves. It's such a critical thing, not just you, to the guys at Prime, Truth, Punch, all of these other Fabric, all of the radio networks across this country, across Liberia.
I was telling somebody, it is a discipline by itself.
Right, it is.
You gotta be disciplined.
You have to get up every morning, and I guess you even go to bed late sometimes trying to follow up on all of the issues. It's not easy, and we want to thank you. And also thanking the callers. The callers that participate on these shows. One evening I was going home, I was quite late, and there was some program on the air, and people were calling, and I'm like, goodness, so it keeps the process going. And so people like you don't just provide information, you help in the entire democratic process and enhancing it. And so kudos to all of you guys in the media this morning and to the listening public.
Thank you, Mr. Freeman, for the compliment to all of us. How is life? How is everything?
Good. God is faithful. It's been good. We've been trying to redo the party office and to re-strengthen all of our auxiliaries across the country. We have some major programs coming up in certain parts of Piso and Monrovia.
Okay. That's good. I know we'll talk a lot about governance this morning on the radio. I'm not sure I've ever asked you this before, and I want to ask you this morning. How did you get into business? How? What's the Simeon Freeman story?
That's a good one. I came out of poverty. We were two children from our mother. My father was not really around. We got to be friends later. So it's those kinds of, it's a story of the single mother. I dropped out of school for 1 year when I was in the 9th grade, and then I started again from 10th grade and then on to masters. What drove me into business? I came from the old order of Liberia. So those are all born in the 60s. The thing was that the method of work those days was that you wear a kosu and go and work in a government office. But most of my friends that did that, I found out that it was just like, from hand to mouth. You work, you look sharp, you look good, you wore the jacket or whatever and went to work, but you never really was the guy that was on top. And so I was like, why can't I do business? But then the first challenge was you don't have the capital, you don't have the money, which is always the challenge and has always been the challenge. And so to raise the capital, I didn't see that as a problem. Knowing what I know now, I didn't know it now, but back then it was a challenge, like for a small guy. So I started small trading, started on the streets of Monrovia, small trading. Those days they had this thing called the widow market. You put a rubber rope around the flat. What it's like
the cartoon or whatever.
It's a small bowl.
It's a small bowl with a scimitar.
Right.
And they fix it with a lip
So
plank.
I traded on the streets and then was able to accumulate money. But again, you have to be disciplined. Even at the top where we are right now, you still have to be disciplined. I remember those days, later on around the 90s, I remember I had my account with LBDR, one of the biggest banks those days. LBDR had opened a branch in Habel. And in order to, in those days, you didn't have these Momo and all these things. So I opened my account not with the LBDR in Monrovia, but with the one in Habel. And the reason is simple: to discipline myself. If I put the money in the bank, those days the banks were not as diversified as they are now. If you had your account with the Habel branch, you had to go there. So I did my account in Habel because I wanted to discipline myself. Once the account was in Monrovia, the money would be easily accessible. But once it was so far away, then imagine driving from here to Habel. And so I accumulated. I remember I had raised up to $100,000 and I didn't have a car. And because the mindset for me was, if you bought a car, the car will require gas, it will require maintenance, whereas I could just transport myself in a taxi or a bus easily. And so I did a lot of businesses. As one of the businesses I did was even live cows. So you see, at the slaughterhouse, I used to go to a place called Tengelela in between the border between Mali and Ivory Coast. I used to go to Burkina Faso. There's a place, a second capital called Bobo Dioulasso. I used to go there to buy cows. I used to bring the cows to the slaughterhouse. Then I realized that I had a problem with a lot of the people that bought cows. The way the cow business, the trade work is, the meat sellers, the shop owners come and they point at the cows they want to slaughter. We give them on credit. So they sell the cow and then they pay you afterwards. But then I realized I was disadvantaged because most of the guys came from a particular tribal group and they weren't really buying the cow of a Liberian man because Liberian people are not usually in such a trade. So with such a problem, I decided, look, let me solve this problem by going to the roots. So I went to the then Marketing Association as a guy, I don't know, he's still around, called Colley. He was then the president. So this Mr. Colley guy, we signed a deal. I took over all the shops, the Marketing Association shops at Waterside and at Raleigh-Town Market. Then I brought in my own people to take over those shops. And then I started to supply them my cow, so I didn't have to wait for people to take my cow. I already determined how the cow would be consumed. So it's been a whole roller coaster. Wow. So even to today's date, we invest a significant quantity of our income on advancement, on new business. So that's how we're able to build a 7-story building in Simcoe.
Did the war not affect?
Oh, it did. It affected me drastically, but again, it was the war that compelled me to diversify. So today you see I'm in sugar in Nigeria. I'm into real estate, manufacturing. Today we have an industrial park in Ghana. So all those kinds of things we're about to build, and we have like 800 acres of land. We're trying to build an ecotourism resort. So all these things are things that have led us to learn that investing 100% in one country is not the best strategy.
So you have a business in Nigeria?
Yeah, Nigeria, Ghana, these places. So yeah, we have a diversification infrastructure. There are certain variables that compel us to do certain things. So if avocado would be done in Kenya because Kenya has all of the infrastructure.
Is the one we call butter pear?
Yeah, butter pear. Okay. So it's a very good money maker. It earns
really?
It earns you between 25,000 to 50,000 per annum. Per hectare per annum. So if you had that,
when you say hectare, how many trees we're talking about?
I need to check, but okay. But measure in terms of the land. Okay. Yeah. So you basically talking that, and you're talking from it takes you. They have different varieties. It takes you like 3 years, 4 years for one tree to mature, almost like a cocoa tree. But from the moment it matures, you start to make per hectare. You start to make about 25,000, and then until it matures up to 40,000. And it has a lifespan of about 25 to 30, 40 years. So imagine if you were to invest in that, you have a long term.
We don't have any farmer here doing that on a large scale.
I'm not sure, but some of the challenges is if you did it in Liberia, then your problem is exportation. You don't have an air cargo infrastructure like you have in Kenya, you have in South Africa, or you have in Ethiopia. So or like you have in Ghana and Nigeria. So sometimes when people pick these markets, it's based on certain local policies that favor a certain outcome. So now, for example, why avocado is in high demand because you have the Chinese are now part of the consumption. Chinese are more focused on lifestyle preference. First, it was the Europeans and Americans consuming. Now you have the Chinese, the Indians consuming. So it's created this larger demand that has made avocado like the black gold or the black cocaine. So coming back to what drove me into business has always been a desire to impact outcomes rather than just being impacted by outcome. It's the same thing that has driven me into politics. I want to ensure that we can impact outcome. I want to rewrite our story. Today, take like as an example, if you look on the main streets of Monrovia, most of the buildings you see are foreign owned. Tall buildings are foreign owned. We just acquired lands in Sinker. We want to build some of those tall buildings as well. We have lands on 24th Street by the ocean. We want to build a whole compound. We have acquired land in Mabam Point. In fact, we want to build one of the biggest buildings called The Address. Struck a deal with some partners.
The Address?
Yeah, The Address. We're looking at least 25, 30 apartments, 3-4 bedrooms. It's going to be high-end and very expensive. Our landscape is heavily influenced by foreign presence.
It seems you've diverted your attention from the building of the city you were talking about.
No, we have not. You see, the reason why we move away from that city is we learn quickly. You know, in business, there's something called a learning organization. Do we have the land? Yes, we have 150 acres of land. Mm-hmm. We own a lot of land in Doazon. We're about to add another 100 acres across the river. Mr. Jackson, we changed course because, one, we delayed that project, because when the status finally came back, and from what we've seen, for example, you notice there's this guy opposite Shuffling, Mohammed. It's a tall gentleman that built I don't know what's the name of his community, but he's having challenges. Okay. From our experience in Ghana, the real estate market, we give you, you pay for the property in 24 months. Most of the people that want to buy, want to pay, you know, they are Liberians in America, they want a mortgage. But what they don't realize is the mortgage is not given by the developer, it's given by the bank, right? So like Mr. Jackson wants a house, that house that he wants in America, that credit is given to him by his bankers. The developers get paid 100%.
100% by the bank.
By the bank.
And then the bank, you pay the bank.
That's why when you default, the bank takes it back from you. But in Liberia, we don't have that infrastructure. The banks here will give you at most 24 months credit, line of credit, right? And so in our case, like in Ghana, we have a payment infrastructure where, like right now, we're finishing up some developments in a place called East Legon Hills. That development is practically almost so. I'll show you some of the pictures here. The reason is simple. People pay us in 24 months. You pay the first installment, maybe the first payment you make is 5,000. After that, you make another 15,000 or 20,000 after. So let's assume the property is 80,000, or let's assume it's 100,000, 150. Like East Legon Hills, we're selling them for 150 for the 3 bedrooms, 4, because we have a room in the back and bathroom for your boys' quarter. Then so the main house has 3 bedrooms. Then we have the 4 bedrooms, which is the main house. Then in the back you have 1 bedroom. Those ones are going for like 200,000, right? So but here's the deal. Mm-hmm. You pay us in 24 months. So
in 2 years.
In 2 years. But we give you the key. So after your payment, we don't give you the key at all. We realize in Liberia, you don't have that real appetite. And so investing in such large-scale infrastructure will just lead to tears. And it's affected some people, like this guy to Shuffling, you go there. Real estate developers go into the market with a particular quantity of money. Let's say the project is going to cost 10 million, 100 million, right? You go in with about 30, 40% of that. And then you anticipate inflow will continue the building. So, but when you have, when your demand is lower than your delivery, then it creates a whole lot of problem, and that's precisely what slow us with the Doazon project.
Okay, I see.
But we see now that there is an appetite for rental property.
Rental.
And what has fed this is you go on the streets, most of those buildings you see in Sinko are all rental property, going for anywhere between 1,500 to to $3,000 a month. So people, expatriates and other people come into the country looking for move-in facility. So we see that there is an appetite in this market. We also see that this market has not developed the appetite yet. Liberians are not used to living in an apartment or owning an apartment, right? So to buy an apartment is something people do a lot in Ghana and in Nigeria, but that appetite is not here yet. And so these things take time in terms of you may have an aspiration for one thing for a market, but then in reality it doesn't work out.
Okay, let's move on now and come to talk about politics and some of the issues. Now, talking about politics, Mr. Simeon Freeman, you've contested twice or three times?
Right, twice.
As you want to be president of Liberia.
Right.
Don't you think it would have been better to start from somewhere other than the presidency, so you showcase your leadership ability, you showcase your understanding of the politics of the country, and people have an appreciation of who you are as a representative or a senator? Then they say, I think this guy can be a good president.
So there are, like the Chinese say, there are 1 million ways to get to heaven. One other way to make yourself known is to go straight for the gun, like I have done. Am I known across the country more than a representative would have been? Yes, I am. Are there missteps? Yes. Have we learned from that? Yes. We don't have some of the mistakes. We didn't really establish that real grassroots support, which is what we're doing now. So quietly behind the scenes, we're doing lots of grassroots support, lots of community engagement, lots of community projects, and we think that helps us to appreciate and engage with the communities versus the way we did it in the past. So that's why you haven't, in many respects, seen us in the open, because we've been correcting the missteps that we realized was the problem. Becoming a senator or a representative is no clear path to being a president. People that were senators have tried before and they clearly failed. People that are representatives tried before. Is that a clear path? No. To showcase your leadership ability.
Some people who are senators
succeeded.
also tried before and they got it.
Correct. So there is no magic wand. But to showcase one's leadership ability, I think I'm doing that quite a while. You know, I'm one of the few Liberians that have succeeded from government to government, from time to time. I've moved from businesses to businesses. We've learned, like, take the factory across the bridge, right, where we had the water factory. In another month or two, we should be opening, or maybe 3, we should be reopening, because we learned we started a business. We have 5,000 bottles per hour. Limited information. So you thought that, okay, with 5,000 bottles per hour, that was good. But then we realized that with 5,000 bottles per hour, it didn't give you the economy of scale that you needed. So now we've expanded to 25,000 bottles an hour. That's a huge capacity that even enables us to export to Sierra Leone as well. So with such huge capacity, it works. And that's why you see in other markets, people like Dangote, when they got into this business, they just went big, because if you just focus on the local market, it doesn't really work for you, because you need to have appetite for external consumption. So with 25,000 bottles per hour, we also expanded the facility. We're in a solid position in the coming months to just we should have opened this factory much earlier, but then with the hotel that we took over, Cinco Palace, we realized there was some structural defects. We shut it down. You should take a visit there. There's a lot of work going on, you know, inside there, in terms of we're replacing this, replacing that, and when we open, will be the best thing Monrovia has to offer.
Okay,
so every step of the way, when we learn, we correct.
That's good. Now, it depends on who you talk to, but a lot of Liberians believe that there are challenging times in the country. If we were looking at Simeon Freeman as the businessman, to what extent are you helping Liberians to help themselves in these kind of challenging times?
Oh, good. So the way we're doing it, I don't know if you're aware, but I'm sure you heard that, I don't know, you've been following, that the government is trying to kick the petty traders off the streets. Have you heard that? So the government been trying to, you should talk to them. They have the office right there on Camp Johnson Road. I can put you in touch with the guy. Petty traders. I think there are more than 50,000 across this country. The government is trying to kick them off the streets. And we think it would be a good idea on the part of the government and ourselves. We're working with them. We're trying to guarantee a $75,000 loan for them. And the concept is simple. They are not just traders. They are basically people that form the bedrock of this economy. So we believe that, look, like you go to China and go to other places, what they've done, they've taken them off the streets. But the way they've done it, like in Beijing, I visited a place in Beijing just to understand, another place in Shanghai. They took, I think it's a 5-story building, and you go there, this guy has his no store, this guy has his no store. If the government of Liberia can partner with them and build properties, right? We have a lot of public lands around here. If you build a 4-5-story building, or the government say, look, in conjunction with Simeon Frame or other businessmen, we build a 5-story building, these guys can sell in there, right? And then they can appreciate. The challenge they're having now is, you notice all on the streets, they're selling TV, they're selling stereo, they're selling and where do they buy it from? They buy it from the people that are the importers. And when they buy it from the importers, then they have to now compete, because the importer has leverage that they don't have. They buy at a price and they have to go and retail. So buying it at that price and going to retail affects them greatly. However, if you work with them and say, okay, we're going to bring in 2-3 containers of television, and we're going to work with them, so we give it to them in particular to sell. What does that do? It makes them to accumulate capacity. Same thing the Fuller people have done. You go to one store, Waterside, you probably see the store, 2-3 Fuller men in there. The 2-3 Fuller men own that store. Over time, they develop capacity. Even though there were 3 in one store, 2 leave behind, 1 go to another store, the other 2 go to another store, and they develop capacity, and that's how they've been able to push the Lebanese out of Waterside. So what we're saying is, we want to work with them to ensure that similar capacity is developed across the country, so that they move away from this dependency of procuring and reselling. And I think...
Is it possible to do those kinds of developments away from the government? Businessmen like you and others work with the bank to work with these petty traders.
It is, but it also becomes slower, because government has a bigger muscles. Government has a bigger muscle. So, for example, government has properties within Central Monrovia, right? Government has properties within Central Monrovia. What I have told them is that let them find buildings. I'll pull up the resources we can rent so that they can sell in those buildings. We can find on Camp Johnson Road, we can find in Central Town, there are lots of buildings. So in that way, they will segment themselves within that building to develop capacity. And the purpose of the $75,000 funding is to start the process whereby we would target a few products, and those products would be imported. The beneficiaries will sell, and then they will develop capacity and grow dynamically.
Is it going to be a grant?
It's a loan that I'm guaranteed.
Okay.
So they take the loan, I'm going to guarantee the loan, but they will also sign up for it because we want to make sure it works. And we're going to work with them. We're also working with some Susu clubs. I've been having meetings with various Susu clubs. The last time we ran a loan program, but it didn't go good because it came from a political standpoint. Now we're having meetings with actual Susu clubs, and we want to pump a lot of money into those Susu clubs, so that and the current rate, they told me some of them giving money for 15%, some of them 25%. We want them to get our money for 10%, and they were afraid that it will affect their current loan portfolio. We said no, our money is not infinite, right? So if we give you say 5 million, give one group 5 million, give another group 5, give another group 3, and you loan it for 10% over a period, it means people develop capacity. Once our is exhausted, you can always go back to your old portfolio, but our loan will be for 10%. The profitability goes to the club. We're not interested in the profitability. We want to roll over. So from a business and private sector perspective, we want to work with them to create capacity, which for us is extremely important. The biggest challenge in our country is the lack of access to funding, the lack of capacity. Collaboration can be an issue. Like I was telling them, we will identify committed people among them that will take the lead, go to China, whichever country, and buy those things in bulk. If you buy from source, it helps you. Then over time, you can transition these same people into manufacturers. Like the guy in Nigeria, Innocent. Innocent was just a spare part dealer. He was basically a car seller. And then, the governor of the state, this guy, what's his name? The guy who ran for the presidency of Nigeria.
The Labour Party guy?
The Labour Party guy.
Okay.
Obi went to this guy and told him, look, we can do this. We can be a car manufacturer rather than just car importer. And the state gave him all of the help that he needed. And today, innocent vehicle. Not just that, the state he was in bought all of government vehicles were bought for innocent. Government, whatever was bought for innocent, and they encourage the private sector to give him all of the incentives. Many times in our country, people feel you can develop outside our government. There would have been no Dangote if there had not been an Obasanjo. Obasanjo practically helped him to develop the cement factory. Today, the guy is taking on monumental tasks, trying to build a private port. He's built today Nigeria as a net exporter of crude, of refined crude and stuff like that. You need government participation. So even though we have all of this good intention of working with these guys, but if the government comes in, say, with a $10 million muscle, and say, look, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, it accelerates the process, because we need to create that growth, the growth of business people that will take over our economy. We cannot always be looking for investors when we're not creating investors.
Except that sometimes governments will not listen to people like Simeon Freeman, because you want to be president too. Probably in Nigeria, Dangote did not want to be president. He was always a businessman. And so President Obasanjo thought it was good to empower a businessman and not empowering a politician who will gradually take over from you.
No, but that's the unfortunate thing. Obasanjo could have said, if I make Dangote, and not just Dangote, because he's the forefront, if I make Dangote and the other people rich, for example, let's take Obasanjo. Obasanjo decided no more importation of chicken parts or chicken and chicken egg into Nigeria. No more importation of fruit juices. We're going to encourage the making of it, right? Under his administration, they decided we're not going to import rice. We're going to encourage growing rice. So instead of spending 20 billion, Nigeria cut her import bill. So they could have said, you know what? If we create all these successful business people, they could gang up and determine who becomes president. If you see, the presidency is about public leadership, it's about the good of the country. If you have such a myopic view that, if I capacitate these group of people, they could threaten me, then you're too selfish to be in public leadership. So I could say, you know what, these guys that I'm helping, when I help them, they could go and vote for this party or vote for that party. I don't care who they vote for. What I want is to see that the next set of tall buildings that go up wherever will be Liberians. I want to see the next people that when I walk in a supermarket, will not just be all brown color skinned people. It will be dark color skinned people, Liberians. Like in the 70s, you could walk in Cinco, the biggest supermarket, Mims supermarket. She had one on Kem Johnson Road. She had one there in Cinco, the biggest, where you have what the place name? What's the name of that place? I think Orange has an office there, a sub office there. Mims supermarket. They let Naomi Gooden, she had the biggest Liberian business. So these are the things we're talking about. You walk across the bridge, Denko shipping line, the biggest. We need to try to give birth to that, because in Ghana they have their differences, but 70% of the economy owned by Ghanaians. No,
but,
you can't say that about Liberia.
But Mr. Freeman, I want you to be more, if we're being more honest, right?
Right.
Honestly, do you think Obasanjo would have empowered Dangote had Dangote been a political leader of a party that have been running for president in Nigeria?
So here's the
let's
thing.
be honest.
So let's be honest also. You noticed something in the last elections in Nigeria that brought what's his name? The former president of power, the former president of Nigeria. Buhari.
Muhammadu Buhari.
I want you to notice something. Dangote was in attendance. Maybe you're not associated with Nigeria, so you don't follow the politics.
I follow Ghana a lot, other than Nigeria.
So Dangote was in the room when Goodluck Jonathan raised millions of dollars for his campaign, right? The day Buhari won, Dangote was right behind him. So it meant that, and we all do that, it meant Dangote played both sides, right? So if your mindset is capacitating John or Paul or Peter could threaten my long-term existence, then, like I said, the view is myopic. Because don't forget, I didn't say capacitate me, I'm saying capacitate more than 50,000 petty traders within the Republic, within Monrovia alone. That's 50,000. If 10,000 of those people succeed, you've created a whole honor growth of business people that you can search for that can go into many other industries. That's why we're saying capacitate them. Now, when you develop programs that create opportunities for people like me, right? It changes the mindset. Let's take Liberia. Why do you think we're always attracting the wrong people? Like, take for example, today the government is saying the price of flour will be this.
We'll come there.
Government should not be announcing price of flour.
We'll come there.
So you see, if government develop the policies, Mr. Clarence Jackson, by sitting here, you're not just a journalist, just by sitting on this platform, like for example, I first met you in Banga.
In Banga, yeah.
Radio Banga. Now, just by sitting on this platform, you meet a lot of people. Somebody could say, look, Mr. Jackson, you're from Liberia, you're a Liberian, you're a journalist, I want to set up a flour factory in Liberia. Why? Because of the right policies. If you have the right policies, it creates capacity. So if government mindset is, oh, people like Simeon Freeman will be benefited, it's not going to stop me, because don't forget, once I have $5, I can do that $5 in Sierra Leone. I can do the $5 in Guinea. I can do the $5 in Cote d'Ivoire. They have bigger economies than all. Anyway, I can do it in Kenya. I can do it in Tanzania. There's a lot happening in those environments. So, and that not just me, a lot of Liberians that have that capacity can do that. So if our mindset is, I want to be successful, but I don't want any threat to my throne, then it's going to affect us. And don't forget, this is not a new thing. Around 1948 to 55, there is something called a Statement of Understanding. I will send you that, just remind me. So that Statement of Understanding, there was an argument in Liberia as to how are we going to develop Liberia. Some people say, let's use Liberians. Some people say, no, let's use foreigners. So this argument have always been around. Today, your biggest contracts go to foreigners. Everything, look, iron ore tailings at the port of Bikina, something that is sitting there. All you need is somebody to export it. We're looking for foreigner to do that.
Okay, Liberian businessman and politician Simeon Freeman is our guest. He's a political leader of the Movement for Progressive Change. Several of our colleagues are here carrying it online from with the different online institutions, and of course, Prime FM is relaying this show this morning. Let's move on and put more light on the Liberian economy, resuscitating the Liberian economy, and I want it from a Simeon Freeman perspective, your practical ideas. Every government that comes to power will come with an agenda.
Right.
George Weah was here. It was the Propo agenda for development. Joe Boakai now have got his, rescue agenda, and each of these agendas.
It's called arrest.
Arrest agenda. I'm sorry, arrest agenda.
Right.
Each of these agendas talked differently about how they will resuscitate the economy. Liberians always talk about investing in private sector and trying to do domestic revenue mobilization. What is your practical idea about reviving or resuscitating the Liberian economy if we must hit the billion in years to come, for example?
For me, it's not in years to come. You could hit $1 billion next year. Mr. Jackson, some of the things people haven't considered. When you were in Banga, we didn't have anything called container tracking number. When you look, they introduced it, it became a layer. Mm-hmm. When you're clearing container, it increases your cost. What people don't forget, we are an import-based economy. Mm-hmm. Anything that affects the price, the costs of clearing, affects the price of goods to the people. Mm-hmm. Then, at the time, we had only the MPA, National Port Authority. You have only one fee to pay. Today, you have to pay APN Terminal, you have to pay National Port Authority. So you created 2 layers of fees. Mm-hmm. Then you have BVAC. You change from BVAC now, you go to something called METEC. Do you know the last time I brought in about 15 containers at the port? Okay. Do you know that it took almost 3 weeks for us to clear? And it was not our fault. METEC said they had a problem. We had to pay METEC. Then when we went to APN Terminal, they say it's not the problem. The shipping company say it's not their problem. So you pay the shipping companies demurrage, right? You pay them demurrage. You pay APN Terminal. You pay the MPA. You pay all these people, all these layers. The first thing I would do is to unravel those layers. What you don't need for importation, you take it away. One of the things I would get rid of immediately is GST, General Service Tax. You don't need that.
Why?
It's a burden. You see, everything, you're an import-based economy. Everything that burdens your people affects consumption. And when consumption is affected, it affects purchasing power. And that also affects the multiplying effect of money. Think about it. Say, 1 gallon of gas was $1.50. You will be tempted to go and spend weekends in Basel, weekends in Ganta, weekends in wherever else, and you will be tempted to just drive around Monrovia because it's $1.50. But at $5, you're checking your gas. Right? So when you put in $60 gas for the beginning of the week, when somebody say, drop me some, I ain't got gas for that. So just by the price, you impact consumption. How do we want to transform this economy? We think the first thing has to do with relieving the burden of the people. All of these layers make few people rich, and not necessarily that they provide any solution. Continual tracking number really doesn't provide any tangible solution, long or short term. MedTech, we can have a MedTech, but we can have 4 other MedTech. And the MedTech doesn't necessarily have to be foreign owned. It can actually be locally owned. There is no real, they're doing destination inspection. Why are we so anxious to create wealth for foreigners and not for ourselves? Why can't we have Liberian businesses providing those inspectory services? So what that does is, today there is
Are you looking at capacity issue?
Creating capacity, you can do it in a limited period of time, and you can do an arrangement. So let me ask you something. The Dangote refinery, you have lots of foreigners working there, but who owns it? It is not just Dangote that owns it. You have a lot of other Nigerian billionaires that have equity in there. You have a Nigerian stock exchange. Nigerian citizens also have equity in there. And he has basically some of the bulk equity. Maybe he floated about 60% of his shares. I'm not sure of the dynamics. So when we set up these infrastructure, Simeon Freeman, Clarence Jackson can own it and bring in a British guy to work for him. You see that visualization? So ultimately the wealth is here. Ultimately knowledge is transferred through engraphing low cost to international expertise, and then it works. Today you see some of the most beautiful cars coming out of China. China has been able to recruit Mercedes engineers, Rolls-Royce engineers, taking them back to China to work for local Chinese firms. You should look at some of the Chinese cars today. They're extremely amazing. The other day I saw some of them in South Africa, really amazing. In fact, the guys in South Africa are not even buying the BMs again because BMW offer you a lot less in terms of future. The Chinese car offer you a lot more, and it's a lot cheaper. So you want to get rid of those layers and create Liberian capacity. So my job as president is to make Liberians rich, not foreigners rich. That's the first thing I want to do. The second thing you want to look at, and how is that going to happen? It's going to happen through policies. One time, I'll tell you this much. I used to be a used car importer. I won't call the minister name, but we visited the minister, and the minister said, at that time, the minister said, I want to make sure that only Liberians can import used cars. And I sat in that meeting and said, Madam Minister, are you sure you want to do this? She said, I feel insulted. Why would you say that? Am I sure I want to do this? I said, because I want you to just answer my question. She said, okay, yes, I'm sure. I said, if you're really sure you want to do this, easy. Then she said it was the issue of fronting. Liberians will come and say they own this business. The Lebanese guy or the Indian guy will go to the Liberian man and he will front for them. I said, but it's easier to fight fronting. If you say you own the business, ask who signs the bank account, whose signature is on the bank account of that business. It's easy. I can come to Mr. Jackson and say front for me, but I won't put his signature on my checking account. So if the business, all of the business accounts, this guy is actually the signatory to this account, then it shows that he's not fronting. These guys will take risks, but not that type of risk. When I said it, she lied back in her chair. After that meeting, nothing happened thereafter. So in spite of the fact that we say these things, what we really want to do is totally different. The number one job for a government official, for a president, is to create jobs for Liberians, create opportunities. When I've done with these layers, the second thing you want to do, we want to tackle the waste in government.
The wastes.
Yeah. You see, people always say, oh, corruption, corruption, corruption. Our problem is not corruption. Our problem, you see, corruption is the outcome of lack of capacity. Let's face it. It's not an easy thing. We started the show by me saying thank you for the sacrifices people like you and many other people, the guys from Prime, the guys from Truth, Fabric, OK, Punch, Voice or Library, all these guys make to come to the show in the morning. Freedom and all that. Anybody might take it to be an easy thing. I may not have that discipline to do this every morning. Some other people might not. When you want to make a man minister of something, have you even been minister of anything in your own life? Most of these people don't even have the discipline to even control themselves. Most of these people leave government and you don't hear about them again ever. They don't even have a shop. And if they did run a shop, it broke down. But you take that same person and you want to make the person minister of something that has to add value to the lives of millions of people. Are we serious? But these are the core issues. That's why I'm saying the real challenge that we have in government, lack of capacity. So if you don't have capacity, you become myopic. Let's go back to Nigeria. This woman, the Okonjo Iweala, she came from the World Bank. They brought her to Nigeria.
I think finance minister.
Yeah, as finance minister. Under Obasanjo.
Yeah.
It was under her administration that most of these policies were pushed. Rice. Why are we spending $20 billion per annum on rice production? Today, Nigeria is self-sufficient in rice production. And who are the people that are rich? I can take you to some of my friends' warehouses in Nigeria. You will be shocked. You will see the massive warehouse infrastructure. Nigerians are investing in the sector. Juice factories. Sugar is such a big deal. Why? Because one policy from one government after 8 years change the landscape forever.
You wanted to talk about your practical idea about cutting down wastes.
I'm coming to that.
Yeah.
So the way to cut down waste, let's face it. If you look at our budget, more than 90% of that budget is spent on recurrent costs.
Expenditure.
Salaries alone, I think salaries about either 22 million or so per month, just somewhere in that range. That's why you see this government will never have, as much as they criticize harmonization before coming to power, since they came to power, they've never mentioned it because nobody is willing to put that $3 to $4 million back on the payroll. It's too high. I think it was somewhere around 26 or so million or so. It was rising. Now, you have to cut that waste. Whether we like it or not, using government as a means of job creation or as a means of opportunity creation is only a long-term liability. I am on record to say...
You call that a long-term liability?
It's a long-term liability.
Okay.
Every year you take 5 million, you give it to LBS. You take another, 5 million, you give it to Ministry of Information. To do what? For them to talk? Then we establish another bureau now. Bureau of what? Culture, I think they call it tourism. To do what? You come into a lot, another $2-3 million per annum. Whereas, if the government has said, we're going to allot $3 million annually from the central bank to the commercial bank. Mr. Jackson, you want to invest in tourism in Bond County, in Basso, or for now, we're focusing on Cape Man and Buchanan. If you want to invest, there's $2 million loan. You can say, okay, let me do a design and get 100 or 200,000 to build something that will attract tourism to this country. But we take that money, we're going to spend it on a government infrastructure. We have a problem of Bapolu County, Grand Cru County. The people say, well, we are part of Grand Jira. We are not River G. We are part of Grand Jira. Grand Cru say we are part of Sino or Maryland. We were not heard. We want our own county. What did we do? We established a county. 2 senators earning more than $2 million a year. It's not just your salary, the Senate office, everything that is given to you. Then you got representatives. Since you created Grand Cru County, what has changed? But every year you have a long-term liability. So all we're saying, we need to reduce the size of this government. And by reducing the size of the government, doesn't mean we'll create unemployment. When we reduce the size of the government, if you work for government, we'll put you on a free payroll while we transition you to the private sector. When we give you a job in the private sector, we free up that payroll. You will see over a 24 months period, our payroll per month from 22 million may probably shrink to about 15, 14
so
million.
So what will you be cutting? Let me hear what
some
you
of the
cutting.
ministry. Look,
okay.
Do you need a Ministry of Commerce to sign IPD? No. You have to let it go. The only thing I'm going to keep will be a National Investment Commission, and we give you a wider scope. Do we need an internal audit agency? No, I let it go. Keep the GSE. Do we need a Ministry of Information? No, let it go. Do we need to keep ELBC? Sell it to a private entity. Let it compete like OKFM, Prime FM. There are lots of things you can let it. Today, I see a board appointed National Food Assistance Agency. National Food Assistance Agency came about in the early years when we needed to provide food assistance directly. When was the last time we did that? You setting up a whole board, you have a whole administration, you giving them budgetary allotment to do what? Everybody, we just appoint in government. Everybody wants some kind of government job, government title, and that's the only way you can be relevant. And when that government leaves, you see the people walking around like, you know, Pastor Man will say, so tete, like they never had money before. It's bad. You know, we can create a country of bureaucrats and liabilities, and then we say, oh,
if you were scratching out ELBC and the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism, who's going to articulate government policies and programs to the people?
It's simple. Every ministry and agency already have a press office. You know that. Every ministry in this country already have a press office. The worst of all, then the office of the president already have a whole press secretary to the president that has a whole infrastructure, deputy press secretary. So even if you cut off the press wing of the ministries, they can still report the outcome to the press secretary, and the press secretary and do that. You don't need a whole ministry for that. You see, these are the issues. We got too many layers. You know, you don't need an LPRC for that purpose. You know, to be fighting, you importing petroleum, you fighting with the people. Let the private sector take care of its own self, because it's going to work. You know, I don't know how old you are, but I tell you what, several years ago, there was this argument. I sat with one president. I don't like to call the names because, you know, these are personal conversations. And I said, look, let's get rid of the Liberia Telecommunications Corporation. At that time, our LTC situated on Lane Street. And the president said to me, my brother, you don't understand. This is national security. Today, one of the largest income generating sectors, mobile phone, data. Who runs it? Private companies. It's no national security at stake. Water and sewer. Why are we still pumping money into water and sewer? Give that, look, I got a group of friends that can run that thing tomorrow morning. I can even invest in it, and we can change it around. It will become competitive, and you don't have to give it to one person. You can divide it. You can divide Monrovia into parts, 4 parts, and you can divide the country or into zone, and it's going to work effectively. People will have water. There will be no issue of the managing director and the deputy, because the deputy comes from maybe another powerful politician around the president. The second deputy comes from another powerful group of politicians around the president. The head comes from another group of powerful politicians around the president. So everybody is reporting to different loyalty infrastructure. When the private sector take over here, we'll cut that nonsense. Everybody has to reapply, and if you're good enough, we maintain you. If you're not good enough, we repurpose you, and water will be delivered 100% without the explanation, without these things. We don't need to be pumping the millions we pump into things like LEC and all that. These things drain us. So today, the executive mansion, all the ministries are not paying LEC bill, but guess what? They're paying the telephone bill. Every one of them buy their cards prior to. Nobody owes anybody. But when you give it to the private sector, those jokers will start paying their bills. You don't owe me, I don't owe you. You use my service, you got access to it. Period.
Okay. Let's assume Freeman. Let's move on. Just this morning, I was reading an executive mansion release. Recently, the president appointed the vice president on a committee to look at the prices of basic commodities on the market. And this is so probably because Liberians have been complaining that there were increase in the prices of basic commodity, our staple, the ice, the flour, and blah blah blah. The vice president has been working committee, being submitting recommendations to the president. Initially, they reduced the price of the staple and flour. Just last night, the president issued a statement dropping the price of a carton of egg from 60 to 50 United States dollars.
Right.
I mean, people will always be divided in
right.
opinion on these kinds of issues. What do you think about it?
You see, Mr. Jackson, again, like one time I was in Lofa, in one town called Zolowo, and the old man told me, you have to look at the old map to plot the new map. And that statement, I sat down in my chair, and it meant so much. I remember under Samuel Doe, they needed to influence the rate, the late former President Doe. And they forced the rate. First thing that happened was you couldn't find money changers. If you did find a guy, it was a different deal altogether. Then on Madam Sally, if you remember, we did similar pronouncements. Never work. On Taylor, we did similar pronouncements. Political interference in commercial infrastructure never works. Price is a factor of several things. If I were president, I won't make that pronouncement. You know what I would do? I will floor the market. And the way I will floor the market, how many rice importers are there? If there are 10, we create 30 rice importers. Let the market forces determine their own infrastructure. What I will do will be to ensure the layers that I have on top of rice importation are removed. Container tracking number. If I'm bringing a shipload of rice, imagine what I have to pay to the container tracking company. If I bring a shipload of rice, imagine how much I have to pay to a METEC. If there are alternatives, it creates competition. Somebody else can provide a cheaper cost. If there are 4 local inspectorate companies like Liberian run, then it changes the dynamics. When those layers are changed, it affects everything. These kinds of reactions are tough. Here's why it's tough. Let's say I bought rice from the guy for, say, $14.50. And I took that rice to Maryland. Transportation was added. That's just my cost of goods. You haven't even added my cost of rent and my operational and admin costs. So I'm selling the rice in Maryland for, say, $18 or $20. One inspector in faraway Maryland come to my shop and seizes my rice and say, the president say this rice should be this. You've deprived me because, far away like that, justice is quite blurry. The same thing happens. So what happens as a result? Other people start to hide the rice. Now it leads to hoarding. And hoarding leads to what? Higher increases. You don't detect the price based on an executive marshal release. It has to be market forces. And the way to influence that would be reducing the layers on top of it. The other aspect would be removing the taxation on rice for a period. To say, okay, if you're bringing in rice, you're not going to pay this tax. As a result of that, and because you have many market importers, so for example, if I want to sit on Prime FM and Prime FM say, okay, look, we charge you $500 per hour. I go to Truth. Truth say we charge you $200 an hour. I will say, okay, I will deal with Truth. So Truth will have more volume, and because Truth has more volume, it's going to force Prime to reduce her price. It's market forces. If we're not using market forces, we're using presidential proclamation. So is the executive marshal now determining prices and operating costs?
And you think those proclamations are arbitrary? Don't you think they are conversations?
Even if they are conversations, it does not take into consideration the window. You have conversation with an importer. You did not have conversation with a retailer. The retailer bought 10,000 bags of rice. Let's take the guy that's saying the price of rice in Kakata is cheaper than the price of rice in Monrovia. But obviously, it has to be. Why? One store down Waterside is probably going to cost me maybe 10,000 a month. 10,000 a year. Whereas the store in Kakata will cost me 1,500. My overhead cost is slimmer. My apartment in Kakata probably cost me $150 a month. I live right above my store. Whereas my store here, my apartment here is probably costing me $1,500 per month. So yes, from here, it's the same thing in Ghana. Prices of things in Kumasi are cheaper than some of the things in Accra because cost is a factor. So your operating cost changes everything. People don't put these into the mix. So you don't want to work with prices that way. What you want to do is to enable the environment. Let market forces determine that, like was done in Nigeria, like was done in Nairobi, like was done everywhere else. You were saying if there are 10 rice importers are increasing the number, it means government encourage more importers in the sector? Because right now government, you see, that's what the Ministry of Commerce does. That's why we want to get rid of that. When you want to import rice, you have to go to them for IPD. So that import declaration permit. And you know when it came into being? It came into being in the 80s when one commerce minister was minister. And the whole concept of IPD started in South Korea. Sometimes we use these things, we don't even know the history. During the Asian financial crisis in South Asia, South Korea was desperate. She went to the IMF. Then the IMF said, if you want our assistance, these are the conditions. South Korea was not permitting the importation of rice. And don't forget, those days, America was one of the biggest rice exporters, the Powerball rice. So the IMF and the World Bank said, you want our money? you have to now permit the importation of rice. So the Asians, because they were so desperate, and also you have to open up your market and make your market-based economy. And the studies was done over a 10 years period. South Korea had exported more than 600,000 cars to America, whereas America had exported less than 5,000 cars to South Korea over a 10 years period. So America said, look, because of our influence at the bank those days, we still is strong. Look, let these people open the market. You know what South Korea did? South Korea said, fine, we're going to open our market, but this is what we're going to do. If you come to us to import rice, we're going to give you a permit. So Mr. Jackson come and say, we want to bring in 5 shiploads of rice. We give him a permit to bring in 5,000 containers of rice. So Mr. Jackson cannot say we didn't give him permission to import rice, right? So they had to protect the local economy. The agricultural sector in South Korea was strong. It was the bedrock of the economy. They didn't want to kill it. That's why you see companies like Samsung do that history. Samsung was actually a company selling pineapple and apple. It was a vegetable company, and today they transition. So in every respect, what you want to do is that whole IPD, you want to kill it and open the market, let there be more importers. Then the burden on top of importation, you remove it. Market forces will clearly determine. Let me give you one example. Today, how many cement factories you have? You have 4.
You in the business.
I'll tell you, you got 4. You got Cemenco, you have one in the Freeport, you have one, Seti, then have one, then you have one in Basso. 4 cement producers now here. Has it affected the price of cement? It has. Today you can buy it for $7 something cent. Some people sell it $7. Depends on your volume.
You think we need more?
No, what I'm saying, just by having 4 cement producers, what happened? It's caused price stabilization in the cement market. It's increased availability. You know, remember some time ago, there was cement scarcity, cement issues. Today you don't have that anymore. So when you encourage more participants in the market, what happens is, and then you take the layers off it. Container tracking number, all these medtech that you have to pay APN terminal, you have to pay port charges, all these different things that you have to pay. Let there just be the taxation on top of the import duty on top of it. It changes the game, it changes the weight, it changes the price infrastructure, because the businessman already has other layers. He has to pay for his warehouse in Monrovia, he has his overhead costs, he has to bring in the requisite staff to take care of all that, he has to preserve the product, because rice and flour is such that if you have the rice and you don't store it properly, it gets hard from underneath. That's loss.
Mr. Freeman, thank you. Most of the things we'll be asking you to talk about will be from your perspective, because you want to be president of Liberia.
Right.
I do not have a statistics in my hand to really lay hands on, but from experience, I think there are more than 1.7 million people out there about residing in Monrovia.
That's right.
I am not sure Monrovia, as a city, have the capacity for that.
Right.
I am not sure this kind of number would have been here. Probably had we not had war, all this kind of things, even though the war is over. Let me hear your idea of de-urbanization, discouraging people from coming to the urban area but remaining where they are, and government providing the available infrastructure and the environment for them to remain where they are. What's your idea?
I'll give you one example, Mr. Jackson. I'm sure you've heard the story of Dubai.
I've heard a lot about
Dubai. You hear lots and lots of story about Dubai. What you don't hear is how it came about. Dubai is not a country. Dubai is one of 3 emirates or regions of the United Arab Emirates. You have Sharjah, you have Abu Dhabi, then you have Dubai. They have 3 rulers. The ruler of Dubai, and I'm using the example so you can see the picture.
Yeah.
The ruler of Dubai decided, you know what? We're going to create a tax haven. Come here, don't pay us anything, set up your factory, do your business, make your money, come in with your workforce, and that's it. I was in Dubai. I'll give that experience. I talked to one of the cars I was using. It's a Lexus that we hired over there. And I spoke to the guy who owned the company. Do you know how many cars he has? He has 5,000 vehicles. He alone in Dubai. 5,000. And he's not an Emirati. He's from Pakistan. He's a Pakistani. And he said most of his drivers are from Pakistan. He's got Rolls Royces, Lexus, you
mean
Range Rover.
5,000
Vehicles
for commercial?
Yes.
Okay.
For commercial.
Okay.
He came to Dubai based on that attraction. It's a city that moves. What do you do with Liberia to de-urbanize? If I'm president, I would take a few coastal cities. Cape Man has a reputation for tidal waves. People come from around. A few normal people. Tidal waves. Grand Bassa County, beautiful coastline. The whole Grand Bassa coastline. Monrovia is now saturated. You got Riverside sitting there dead. Sino, Maryland. I will create, those places will create a tax haven. If you set up a business there, you don't pay us any tax. What then happens? You want to target people that want to open industries in those areas. From our perspective from central government, every year we allot at least $20 million to $30 million for the business sector. What do we want to do? We want to take that money. We're not going to take the money and give it to anybody and say that government money. We're going to give that money to the Central Bank of Liberia. The Central Bank of Liberia already has just a matter of paperwork, and they will loan it to the commercial banks with on-wall instructions. When Mills Jones was governor of the Central Bank, he came out with a 5-year loan program for real estate developers. Real estate development. So if you are working, Mr. Jackson could go to LBDR or any of the other bank, take a loan up to $35,000 to build his house and pay back over a 5 years period of a small interest rate. So these things are workable. And I just had to provide that for the naysayers who will say, oh, these things are theoretical, like people that will call and say. So if you give that money, then what happens? You can only access this fund if you're going to set up a factory in Riverside, in Sino, in Maryland, in Cape Man. What would you have done? You created both the resources and created the incentive. I'll give you a country called Costa Rica. Costa Rica wanted to attract American pharmaceutical giants. Costa Rica said, if you establish a pharmaceutical company in Costa Rica, we are going to pay your employees for the first 6 months because you are teaching our people.
The government pays.
The government pays your employee for the first 6 months because you're teaching our people how to work in the pharmaceutical industry since we don't have that capacity. The government will also give you 100% duty free for everything you're bringing to convert to drugs, since we may not have all of the implements and the materials you need to create that drug. If you're selling the drugs on our market, we give you 50% duty free. And there were scores of other incentives for foreign workers that you will bring in over what period of time. When the government did that, it started to attract foreign pharmaceutical American giants that started to go to Costa Rica. What took them was the structure and policies that you put in place that attracted them. What is going to attract people to Liberia for certain kinds of industries is that we create the environment. If we don't create the environment, what's going to be the outcome? Think about it, Mr. Jackson. Oh, say no to drug. Say yes to what? What's the alternative? Okay, you say no to drug. Then you say yes to what? You come to Monrovia. Those days, in the 70s, Dole community didn't exist. In the 80s, it started to grow. Today, Dole community is something else. All those places are slum. You come from Grand Cru, you come from Banga, you come from Lofa, you come to Monrovia. Thanks to technology. Today there's Facebook, there's Instagram, there's TikTok. I don't need anybody telling me. I just go online, I will see what Monrovia looks like, right? I get in the car, I come to Monrovia. One other man in Slipway is my cousin or my brother, I come. He's sleeping in one room. There are already 2 there. I join and with 3. The thing I came to get, the better opportunity I came to chase in Monrovia, I'm not getting it. What happens next? I'm consumed by frustration, hopelessness. What's my next consolation? Drugs. It's not all of the drug consumers that are Zogos. So if you don't create that alternative in terms of public policy, you can fire people from DEA for our care. Maybe 6 months from now, you fire that other crew again. It's not going to change anything. If you say no to drug, then you say yes to what?
Okay, let's go this way, and then we can take some time
let's do
to talk to callers on the lines
call.
and those kinds of things. Now, there are a lot of national assets that are currently lying, and even the flowers that were planted for the beautification of this place have been left to grow their own ways. I'm talking about the Hotel Africa,
Right.
the Ducal, the blah, 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 all these national assets. What's your idea? How do we as a country try to bring these things back and raise a lot of money from it, make our tourism sector probably attractive so that we move Liberia's economy and the budget ahead?
Remind me after the show, I'll give you a document when Madame Sirleaf was acting finance minister around 1978, 77, thereabout. Liberia borrowed about a little over 200 million. I think it must have been 240 or 250. And I'll give you that document to build Hotel Africa. Hotel Africa was first built to host the Organization of African Unity. So they built the conference center, state of the art. They also built the Hotel Africa. They built the villas. The villas were for the presidents. And then the Hotel Africa itself, I think it has about 100 and something or 200 rooms. I stand to be corrected. Those things are monies that were borrowed and they were built. One of the challenges I see in Liberia when John comes to power, he's looking for his own project, because the whole thing is about this one, that is this person's project, is this other person's project, those kinds of arguments. And I think one of the best ways to win government off those things is clearly you set up a consortium. I'm not in for giving these things to external investors. Let's do a consortium of locals, right? That's what I'm saying. In my government, how am I going to create job? I'm going to create job by creating opportunities for people that support me. The job we're going to create for you will not be to make you assistant minister, deputy minister for administration, assistant minister for administration, director for administration, director for, all kinds of things. That's not how I'm going to create job. I will take Hotel Africa, I'll take Mr. Clarence Jackson and 4 other Mr. Clarence Jacksons. Go and set up a company. We'll give you Hotel Africa. We'll give you the first $10 million in loan. Not for free, you're taking it off the commercial bank. And then go out and attract investment. One of the things I want to push on our senior framework government would be a stock market. It's very important. If you look at Momo did more than $2 billion. Just people transferring money through the app. Today, Momo is such a big platform. Not just Momo, but you have Orange Money, all the mobile money platforms. If you have $10,000 to spare, instead of keeping that money in Susu clubs, you can put it on the stock market. If we open our stock market, we have these kinds of infrastructures attracting money off the stock market to be resuscitated. Then from the government perspective, we create the attraction by building a road going to Hotel Africa. So now we've created a 5-star resort for you, same as Duco. Government continual ownership of these things leads to continuous degradation. It doesn't lead to anything. Duco, it was the same thing. During the time when Sawyer, the late former president, Amos Sawyer, was interim president, the whole government was at Duco. So anybody that's much older during that time, the IGNU, interim government of national unity, was at Duco. Then they moved from Duco, they moved to Hotel Africa. No payment of facilities. They were in all of the suites. They ran down the place. When the government changed hands, then everybody forgot about the national assets and it became what it actually is. What I want to do from a private sector perspective, from a government perspective, take those kinds of facilities, give it to locals. This whole thing about foreign, it just pisses me off. We need to be able to have our locals capacity to take care of those infrastructures and they will develop wealth, and that's how we'll be able to change our landscape permanently. But this whole concept of one foreigner king, he came with 50 million, he came with this. That foreigner is citizen of which country? His country created him. Nigerians also invest here. Ghanaians are investing here. Why don't we have, say, 500 Liberians investing in other countries? Or that 500 Liberians coming together and say, okay, you know what? We're going to build the biggest chicken production facility in Liberia. And we export like you see happening in Nigeria. Because we're not creating capacity. We disgrace our people, we chase them. A Liberian man looks good, then he's a rogue. The other day, I think some kind of nurse came up and somebody said, oh, I took 8,000 in a jail lab. And I said to the guy, the watch that I wear costs right now is valued at $400,000. I look like somebody who's going to take
400,000 what?
Yeah, US dollar.
Your watch?
This is a Richard Mill. What do you think this is? A joke?
The watch on your hand now?
Yes.
Almost $500,000?
Yes. So what do you think this is?
What do you do that? Why? I mean, you're talking about creating wealth. How
So,
are you wearing watch?
You see, that's the thing. When you invest in an apartment, unfortunately, we have to leave the question, but let me just answer that because it's very important. When you invest in an apartment, let's say you pay $200,000 for the apartment or the house, right? Over the next 5-10 years, you have to maintain that house, right? When you buy a car, over the next 10 years, you have to maintain that car. Wash is not just a timepiece. From our perspective, it's an investment. So this wash, I pay about $250,000 today. Its value $400,000. It's going up. I don't have to maintain it. I just wear. I got two of them. There's this one called the Booba Watson. There's other one
Meaning
called...
you can give it all anytime.
No, I can give it. I have it. So if I
No,
go
I mean
broke,
to reinvest the money to something
right.
else.
If I wanted to invest, I just go in Dubai, I go Hong Kong, and I can pawn a watch, and I will get more than what I pay for. I've been using it over the last couple of years, and the value has grown. I can pawn this watch for $250. I will still get my $250,000 back, and I walk away. So you see, watch is not just a timepiece. That's why people buy expensive watches. You don't understand. I think there was this thing that came out. David who gave his wife this expensive watch called the Richard Mills. Another version. They have several versions. They have the latest version. All that. People don't understand. It's an investment.
What's your idea finally for the expansion of electricity in this country? Any practical solution? Idea do you have?
Today, again, let me use the Nigerian example. You have lots of private players. Even this David Du father is setting up a 1,200 megawatt infrastructure in terms of power. There are many other players. Tony Illumino is also investing. He's also invested in power. There are other guys that have invested in power in Nigeria. You see, these are all Nigerian locals that have developed capacity. The second biggest mobile phone company in Nigeria is a Nigerian-owned one. What am I giving these things? Look, power in Liberia, the methodology, the approach, like I said under Madam Sirleaf Town, we got a $200-something million from the Millennium Challenge. What did we do with it? We pump it into Simple Man Coffee Hydro. But don't forget, Mr. Jackson, in the 80s, long before today, that Simple Man Coffee Hydro, we have about, I think, how many megawatt? I think, or 30-something or something, 40-something megawatt. Every time during the dry season, we had insufficiency of power. They would say the hydro is dry. Then we took all that money and pumped it into it. What if that $200-something million we had divided it into solar, we had divided it into wind, we had divided it into hydro? Can we put a hydro on the Kavala River? Yes. Can we put a hydro on Farmington? Yes. Can we put
I think we're going solar now.
Can we put a hydro at Ganda? Do you know some of the biggest waterfall we have in this country is not Batawi? Batawi is baby. Ganda in Basso at the back of Lac, one of the biggest. Also Kokoya, you've been in our born country. Kokoya waterfall is far bigger. Nobody goes there because the road is so bad. Could we put hydros in those areas to supply those? Today we're supposed to be a net exporter of power. What am I going to do with power? If I'm president today, LEC will no longer be a public facility. We take action to privatize it, not to give it to foreigner. It's going to be privately run. Then we, as the government, will also avail resources in conjunction with the private sector. Where one of the things we'll do too, the minimum capital requirement in Liberia is about $10 million. I want to move that up to $40 million as soon as I become president year one and give them 2 years, 24 months to raise up that capital.
You take it from 10 to $40 million.
To $40 million. And we ask the banks to recapitalize. In Nigeria, you see, when you're talking these things, people listening don't understand the story. In Nigeria had more than 5,000 banks. Then there was this guy called Sanusi, became governor of the central bank. And he said, look, these banks are failing, same way banks were failing here, and that there would be need for consolidation. And they didn't force them to consolidate, they just said the new minimum capital requirement is this. So imagine if we say to be an FM radio station in Monrovia, you have to be able to show a minimum bank balance of $500,000. What will happen? You and Pram will start talking. Automatically, you and Pram and True will start talking. The owners will come together and say, look, we don't have this money. If we want to show it, then we have to come together. So it compels consolidation. In fact, right now, the current Central Bank of Nigeria came up with new capital requirements. The 10 million have been around here too long. We push it to 40. When we push it to 40, it means that banks in Liberia will be able to give one client up to $4 million. Right now, no bank can give you more than $1 million. No bank can do that because it's going to be 10%, not more than 10% of the capital requirement. So what I want to do, I want to be able to privatize things like LEC, then take about 50 million, you can take 25, $30 million a year over the next 6 years of my presidency, or we're pushing for things like 4 years, or the next 4 years, that's about $100 million, where we give it to the commercial bank and we loan it for alternative power. We do an assessment of the power needs. In rural Liberia, the man don't have ice packs. It's not ice packs he really needs. He doesn't have air condition. It's not air condition he really needs. What he needs is fan. He needs electricity for his, not ice bath, sorry. He doesn't have air conditioning. He doesn't have washing machine. He needs his freezer working. He needs his lights working. So we can provide alternative power sources that will give us the grill. And this national grill then will run. So what would then happen? You have lots of private players. You notice all of my conversation is creating private capacity, because that's how you wean people off government. That's how you take people from out of Monrovia. If you have multiple factories in Bon County or in Nimba or in Basel, why would I leave a sugar production facility in Basel and come to Monrovia to do what? I'm just going to come and visit.
Sima Freeman is head of the Movement for Progressive Change. This is the OK Morning Rush. It's been really on Truth and Prime FM. And of course, in studio here, Ablige TV is here from Buchanan in Grand Bassa County. Radio Magic FM is here from Buchanan in Grand Bassa County too. They're doing it now. So you can call us now on 0777-700-99 and 555-995-995. Just call your name, go straight into it, because we want to get more questions. Mr. Freeman will be writing, and then his time will come to respond. Good morning.
Good morning, Clarence.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yes, my name is Eugene Williams. I am calling you from somewhere around Monrovia.
Yeah, Eugene, let's hear you.
I just tell people, yes, I called to thank Mr. Freeman for his time this week. Listening to Mr. Freeman all the time is always a very good thing. He's one of our best in this country, and I think it is several times Mr. Freeman redefined his whole strategy, because most of the time he goes to election and we don't get the expected result, especially based on, considering what he's talking, considering what he wants to do with the country. So maybe he should sit again, repackage his strategies and try to come back, because people like him are really needed.
Okay, Eugene, thank you, my brother.
Thank you so much.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning, Clarence. How are you?
Good morning, I'm good.
Okay, my name is Joseph Escott. I'm calling you from Bonampan local community.
Okay.
I have two quick questions for him. One, what is his thoughts on people with disability? How can the government include them in the society? That's one. Two, what is his thoughts on technology and tech startup? Because right now, everyone around the world is focusing on technology. So what is his thoughts on these two things?
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Clarence.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, listener. I'm Terry Soman Nimland, and I'm from the headquarters of the Belgian Bureau on the most talk about Boguga Avenue.
Yeah, Nimland.
When I follow the analysis of Sima Freeman, I want to appreciate it. He's one of the best brains of our economy, and I think, like the previous caller have said, you have to redesign his strategies, you have to reorganize his political party, you have to reorganize his thought, his approach to the governance sector of this country. And I think it would be somebody to make a change if despite he reorganize and put in the very perspective that you think clean for the betterment of the country. But I think it's a simple question. What would be your grading when it comes to the border-led government within the first 2 years?
Okay, our technicians will have to come. Mr. Freeman is facing problem with hearing. AB will have to come in. Hello?
Good morning, Clarence.
Good morning.
Yeah, thank you. Clarence, this is Morris Moses Monga.
Yeah, Monga.
From Jacobstown.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Clarence, I have a serious admiration for Mr. Sima Freeman. When it comes to developmental economics, he has a clear-cut understanding on some of the issues that we face in this country. But I have two quick questions.
Go ahead.
One, all of the things that Mr. Sima Freeman is saying, I want to know what all these things can be achieved in the short run. closing down government ministries and agencies, trying to establish it. What are those things? Where will you generate all of those? Where are his sources of funding to be able to do those things in the show? Because the president said yes. As to whether he able to achieve that one, two, Mr. Freeman needs to be practical. For example, Mr. Simon Freeman runs a DSTV company in Liberia. Clarence, I bought a DSTV for Mr. Simon Freeman. I will pay for compact 20, let's say 20 TV for home mobile money, I'll pay $24.50. But I have a Nigerian man from my own time team, he brought a decoder for Nigeria, where he are paying less than $15 for the same compact. So what I did, I bought Simon Freeman decoder that I'm using Nigerian decoder because it's cheaper, it's more clearer. So I want to know as to whether what extra thing is he doing that he's charging on more money for DSTV that Nigeria is charging on lesser money that will not shift it to
For the same
Nigeria?
DSTV, thank you. Your message is across. We go on this other line, then we move to the ground lounge. Hello?
Yeah, Clarence, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Clarence, I'm from the southeast. My name is Focus. Good morning, Mr. Samuel Freeman.
He's listening.
Clarence, a few things I would like to say. Firstly, look, it is a proud thing to have Simon Freeman, St. Jackson, a few other who understand external economic. I have had problem with Simon Freeman in the front. I can remember when Simon Freeman raised the issue of Ministry of Finance and Development Planning. When he became very consistent with that issue, I think there was a touching point which President Sally saw the reason. But I want to say a few things very quickly. Mr. Freeman, besides OKFM that we lay with other radio stations, I would appreciate for you to do a tour in the rural counties in the region. It is very key that the way we want to resuscitate the revamp of economy to have people who are versatile with external experience to be able to educate our people. Lastly, it is also important as you try to raise and go down to the locals because of the past time, we have just been so stuck in the Maserado or the urban area. The rural people also interested in people who try to revive their life to make them to understand the feel the impact of the government. But
Okay,
my disagreement with you, the disagreement with him is the issue of LPROC. I think Mr. Freeman will be very magnanimous enough to have recognized the effort of LPROC of the old day and rather than the current when Mr.
Thank
Tue
you.
is seeking
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm Joseph James Gordon, calling from a resident, 18th Street, Single.
Yeah, Joe?
Yeah, I just want to ask a short question to the honorable man.
Go ahead.
Yeah. What can be the cause when those guys not in power, the RJ can be so relevant, but when they get there, nothing can be even what?
Okay, thank you. Hello?
Yeah, good morning, Clarence.
Yeah?
Let me say good morning to Mr. Simon Freeman.
Mm-hmm.
I am Emmanuel P. Bonoti, and I call you from my residence into the community.
Imaya Gonoti, my man, you stay around more than 1 year.
I arrived, Clarence. I arrived.
Okay, let's hear you. We'll talk that one.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You know, I listened to Mr. Simon Freeman, and I actually led to appreciate him for his brilliant comments this morning, Clarence. The unfortunate thing about the Liberian society is that those who understand what is needed to be done to transform the society, they can find ways lost in their power struggle. So we just want to encourage Mr. Simon Freeman, like all of us have said, he needs to redesign his strategy to see how he can engage the people, come down to the local level and explain these things to our people. Let our people get to grasp your concept of societal transformation. Anything other than that, Mr. Freeman, you can just say you're just saying this fine ideas.
Thank you. Thank you. Those of you outside the country, I see you complaining a lot. You can call WhatsApp, +231 777 464050. Those of you outside the country, +231 777 464050. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Clarence. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
My attention has been, I'm Alexander Howard, I call from St. Paul's.
All right.
My attention has been due to the Medellin Challenge compound.
Mm-hmm.
For your own analysis, will Liberia be possible to win the compound?
From whose analysis? From Simon Freeman's analysis?
From Simon Freeman analysis, will Liberia be able to win the compound?
Thank you. Thank you. Let me go right here on this other line. Hello? Good morning.
Hello, Clarence.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning. My name is Ishmael Flomo.
Ishmael, go ahead.
I join you from Kingsville. Yeah, so as I was saying, I really admire Simeon's pragmatism. He's a very practical economist. I like that. Of course, some of the things he mentioned, of course, are loaded with some errors. Of course, some of the issues the data he gave are not accurate, especially about Nigeria and some of the countries we're measuring. But having said that, Simeon, his personal investment in Liberia.
For example, what data he gave about Nigeria that is not accurate that you want to provide clarity to?
He talked about Nigeria being a net exporter of rice, which is completely inaccurate. Last year, Nigeria imported over 1.7 million tons of rice. Let me check the record.
Okay.
Of course, they're doing well in rice production, but they're still struggling with some of the issues. Now, Simeon's personal investment in Liberia has been riddled with all sort of allegations of labor rights issues, low wages, and all of that. I hope his new expanded investment, he should consider, these issues very well. Okay. Secondly, I wonder why he's not talking about the low-hanging fruit issues. He's talking about avocado investment in Kenya, which he's doing. What infrastructure? How does he intend to develop infrastructure for exporting avocado from Liberia if he becomes president?
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah.
I'm Sebu Keita calling from Downwater side this morning.
Yes, sir.
Let me appreciate Honorable Simeon in the studio. He let it explain and he got my admiration this morning. But what I'm really looking at, these are two-party settlements, the party and CDC settlement within Liberia. For the citizen of Liberia to really look at another person who has the potential, who has the creativity, who has the ideas, and to bring forth development on a strategic line of other citizens. For me, my advice to Mr. Simeon this morning is that, allow me, or by amalgamating forces, these two political parties at least to see the development of our country.
Okay, sir. Thank you. The WhatsApp line is open. Hello? Hello there? Hello? You say so you're listening to something over there. Let me take to the last. Hello?
Good morning, Clarence.
Good morning. I'm only taking WhatsApp calls on this 464050 number. Yeah, go ahead, Oman.
Thank you so much, Clarence. Good morning to my political small. There's a Pagoko conversation now. I just wanted to ask you a question to my political leader on the my question goes like this. I think it's not better that we all put together and build the country and to be criticized because I can remember.
Well, another question there, man. Your last question, ask your question straight to the man. You say you want to ask.
Okay, I think. So my question is my political leader. My question goes like this. That the PRTV, while you are hiring, what under your control?
I don't understand anything, Chief. We gotta move on, man. We gotta move on. Hello?
Good morning, Clarence.
Good morning, sir.
And good morning to one of Liberia's best.
Yeah.
Honorable Simeon Fremont.
When you are in Liberia, don't call me on WhatsApp because I will know and I will not take you. I'm talking about people outside. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Simeon Fremont is one man that I'm very, very proud of as a Liberian. And I really wish that he could become a president of this nation. But unfortunately, we Liberians, we don't love good people. We Liberians, we love criminals. When election is approaching, we run after those that lie to us, those that steal from us. Unpatriotic people are people that we run after. But people that come with ideas, like Honorable Simeon Fremont, we despise them. Then after election, we have voted criminals.
No, my brother Chief, 1 minute now. That kind of characterization of other people is unfair. You can't do that. Don't be calling people those kinds of names.
We elect our leaders. That is okay, right?
You can say that. You can say maybe we elect leaders who do not deliver. Who do not. But when you start characterizing, to say somebody is what you say the person is, it gotta be proven, my brothers.
Okay. That is what we are saying. Our leaders are not people that have been working for. That's what Simeon said.
How will Liberia improve when we are taking jobs that Liberians are to do and give to foreigners? Foreigners take the money and send it to their country. For example, in Liberia, our own say we have Chinese men money ourselves and selling it to us Liberians. We have Chinese men money racks selling it to us as Liberians. What government is doing about that?
Thank you. Hello? Yeah? Hello? Hello? Good morning. Hello?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, my name is Jerry Javato, and I joined the conversation from Omega Community.
Yes, Jerry.
Yes. Let me say good morning to Mr. Freeman. Mr. Clarence, I listened to Mr. Freeman. This is my second time listening to him. He's a good guy, people. But you know, one thing that he's lacking, and the same thing is while suffering Mr. Comey. They know Liberia problem on paper, but then we Liberians are like somebody who is getting drunk, and then you going there to redeem them. When you can swim, you will go with them. So, but they are always have the theory, they have the understanding of changing Liberia on paper. But to get down to the people using the means to be able to get a vote to change the people, that's what they're lacking.
Okay. Thank you. Let's take two more, and then we'll go back to Mr. Simeon Freeman. Hello.
Good morning, Clarence.
Good morning, sir.
Let me say good morning to Mr. Freeman. This is Godwin Ware Jr. And I'm joining from the car with you this morning.
All right,
Well, Clarence, I'm listening to Mr. Freeman as always. But there's the issue that he talked about Nigerian. Take, for example, he talked about Dangote. And he talked about someone who is also who has a car factory or so. And their government and president decided to confine them and to invest in them. But I can say to Mr. Freeman that all the examples I just gave, these are people with require integrity. These are people with the require clarity, and that's why their government are investing into them. Now, Clarence, do you know the Medellin Hotel in Comota?
Of course I do.
So Mr. Freeman was indebted by the SDA Church to manage that particular institution. Today, under his administration, workers protested to the extent that the church had to take that particular structure from Mr. Freeman. I don't want to talk about the TSP issue because there are a lot of people who, have
they've taken it back from him. He just said massive renovation going on, and he's even inviting me to go there and see it.
The SDA people were constrained to have taken when they carrying by that. There could be another issue, but they actually took it from them because you were unable to manage a particular structure. I mean, there's a history about it. I think he said he doesn't want to be honest.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Let me do this one as the final one, man. Then we come back to Mr. Simeon Freeman. Hello? Why are you laughing, Mr. Freeman? Hello? Good morning. Are you there? Good morning.
Good morning, Mr.
Yeah?
Yeah, thank you. Momo Taylor from Painesville.
Yeah, Taylor, let's hear you.
Yeah, I want to thank the NPC political leaders in game admiration. I love it. But you know, Clarence was one of the callers said that those who want to help, I mean, they don't that strategy is not being accepted by the people. So I want to know how is it going, how is it managing, changing the strategy and making sure that he acquired the vote. But quick question, why are the thoughts on the Liberian traffic management view of the Liberian government? I want you to answer that, please. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Freeman, let's listen to you. A lot of questions. Let's hear your perspectives.
Yeah, so I will start from below and then go up. So my thoughts on the Liberian traffic management. I think that's another bad example of how we manage our country. You already have a Liberian businessman, I understand, Mr. Uboti, printing drivers, license plates. It could be expanded to driver's license. It could also, if we needed additional capacitation, that capacitation could have been done. But we take the opportunity from a Liberian, we give it to a foreigner, The foreigner brings absolutely nothing to the table. We lied and say it's a $40 million investment. I'm wanting $40 million investment in what exactly? And today, we have a serious challenge. Under my presidency, such a thing wouldn't happen. The gentleman I call and say the hotel was mismanaged. It's unfortunate how people make statements. We assume that hotel with an integrity issue. They didn't give us the billing because we're serving their advantage. No. They gave us the billing because we are a business and we apply for it like everybody else. There were many other applications. We met the requirements and we took it over. But there were integrity issues. What he doesn't know, that facility is owned by the SDA Church in Abidjan. We have something called the Division, and it's owned by the World Church called the GC. They own that property, so it's not owned by the SDA facility in Liberia. And with their approval, in fact, they've approved for us to spend a little over $400,000 to resolve a lot of the issues. That's why when you come there today or tomorrow, because from here I'm going there, I go there almost every day once I'm in Liberia. We're redoing all of the piping system in the building. The roof had excessive leakages, and that was driving the customer away. So you see these moles develop on the wall. It was affecting pins. We changed all of the fixtures in there. We changed doors as a result of the leakages. A lot of issues that were happening there that he has no idea of. So when he says that and say mismanagement, I don't understand. But because you don't like me and you like a particular candidate, doesn't mean you call on the airwaves and you just lie.
Was it ever taken back from you?
Never. So we signed a 10 years contract, which is also renewable for another 10 years. So the renovation is not my money. It's my money being pumped in, but with their acquiescence, it's going to be taken off the rent. So if they didn't know that there were structural issues, then they would not have approved that we spend that, because according to the contract, structural issues are for the landlord, the owner of the facility. But it's unfortunate how people just make up stories. We're talking national issues. We're talking about ideas for development. Somebody come with a lie, out of nowhere. And unfortunately, the individual who called, I really want to take him on. What do you own in Liberia? What do you really
want to take him on? I think it's important that you address the other issues.
No, I'm going to that. I will go to that. It's good to take him on because these people call because they are stooges of people and they've got nothing to show. So if you got nothing to show, when people who have real assets in the country are talking, people who have proven experience in leadership, then you give them an opportunity, because most of the people
that doesn't also negate the fact that he can ask you questions. He's a Liberian.
No, he can ask me questions, but he's not asking questions. He's insinuating. He here suggesting that I don't have capacity when I'm proving that. Then somebody talking about getting down to the people, Mr. Jerry. That's very important, and that's what we're doing now. And like I told you earlier, that's our weakness. We were more public and engaging, but we were not getting into communities, which we're doing right now. What I didn't tell you, we're running a few programs in District Number 1 in Bassa, District Number 4 in Bassa. You will soon see us. We'll invite you with us to go there. We're also running some projects in some other communities in Monserrato. By next week, in fact, we're launching some clinical campaign by next week as well. So different things has been done to bring us closer to communities. Do we recognize our weakness? Yes, we do. We should have gotten down to the grassroots a long time ago than what we currently did. Than what we did in the past. Mr. Ishmael Flomo says some of my statements are loaded with errors. It depends how you look at the glass, Mr. Flomo, but thanks for the commendation. Nigeria was spending $20 billion on rice import. Are they spending $20 billion today? No, and we alluded to that. Have they reduced their dependence on importation significantly? Yes, they have. He talked about some of my investment are loaded with labor issues. I will tell you something today. Do you know the number one reason why foreign businesses are better run than Liberian businesses? It's not because of the owner. It's because of our mindset as a people. When the foreigner, the building material store owner, or the importer brings in foreigners, his businesses run very well. When we hire Liberians, it don't run. Many times our Liberian people are very laid back. They don't like to work. And so when you push them to work, then they say, oh, you got bad labor practice. And that's why one of the things as president, we set up a labor database. One of the unfortunate things in our country, if Mr. Jackson works here, there's an issue, and he leaves, and they sue him or he sue the company, there is no way company B will know, right? So if you set up a labor database like is as well as South Africa or America or other places, if you have pending labor issue, it will be right there on your file. Mr. Jackson previously worked here. This is the allegation against him, the pending labor issue. What it does, it compels you to be compliant because you never get another job until that issue is resolved. And if we did that, it would make people here more compliant. And I think that's one of the challenges we have. He talked about improving the avocado sector in Liberia. It takes a lot. It takes the government to do that. Because, for example, let's take the charges at the port. Many times when you bring things by air, the cost of freight at the port, the airport, is quite crazy. Charges in terms of whatever else. More besides, what are our charges for fuel at the airport? What are our charges, other equipment usage charges? That's why we don't have the big cargo plane coming here. One time I wanted to export cassava from Liberia. I worked with a guy who I will not call his name, working at one of the institutions now. He was in America. I put him on the assignment to do a feasibility study. Just shipping the cassava out of here, because it would have been moved in 24 hours. The cost of freight was heavy. Why? Because this is not a market for freight. This is a market for human traffic. So in every respect, it becomes a problem. But when government reduces the charges and create an incentive for freight companies to fly here, then it creates a whole market. So that's why we may not be that market for avocado, but do we have the climate for it? Yes. But do we have the environment for it? Take avocado, you can export it by sea. You have to move it by air most of the time. And when it's moved by air, it has to go quickly. So in many respects, those are some of the challenges we have, and which requires government input, not necessarily an individual. Will Liberia win Compact, Mr. Alexander Harvard? Compact, the Millennium Compact. I'm not privy to the documentations that they've advanced. Other countries are advancing. But, I'm of the opinion that it's good to look at your own finances, look at your own capacity, and then when you manage your own businesses, well, those are us who borrow lots of money from banks, who borrow from lots of money from banks because banks see how we manage our own finances, they see the progress we make, and I think it's also very important. So, could we win? It's like you, it's like me, I'm not a Minister of Finance. Mr. Emmanuel Gonosi say I should redesign my strategy. Mr. Gonosi, I'm inviting you on board. I will be visiting the party office today. I'll be there by 4 o'clock. Come there. Let's have a conversation. Or let Mr. Jackson get your number. We're very open. We want to be able to hear from people like you who may probably have a better idea on how to connect. Same thing with Mr. Eugene Twanwe William. I know you very well. Come on board. Let's meet. We're doing some reorganization in the next coming days. You will see us naming different people that are young to different positions within the party so that they can start working. People have a lot of ideas outside our government, but when they get in, nothing. Let's face it, most of the people that you say have lots of ideas outside our government, the question is, what do they do for themselves outside our government? And it's unfortunate, most of the people we have in government do nothing for themselves outside our government. You get persuaded by them. When they get in, you expect them to change things around. If I were to open a radio station and Mr. Jackson came and said, I can manage it, I would say, here is the key, go and manage it. This is what I want every month. If another guy that I've never sat in a radio station before say, I can manage it better, I would say, I'm a little skeptical. So you don't see Fortune 500 company just taking a novice and making him or giving the investments, people's investment. Liberia is your investment. You take Liberia and give it to the wrong people, they screw it up, and then you say the problem is chronic. Liberia's problems are not chronic. The people we've given it to have been the wrong people, and so they keep messing things up, and so the problem looks like it's chronic, but it's not.
What do you say to people who say most of your examples were from Nigeria? Nigeria has a very big population that can quickly accelerate growth, and so most of these things could be possible in Nigeria. Less to talk about, or least to talk about than Liberia that have a little over 5 million.
I use Nigeria. I could also use Ghana. I could have used Kenya. I could have used South Africa. But you see, many times if you were to talk about Mauritius or Singapore, people say far away. I use a country right within almost our same time zone. And what did I talk about? Power. Is it difficult to invest in power in Liberia? No, it's not. Can we do it in partnership with the government? Yes, we can do that. Can the government provide resources for that? Yes. Did the government of Nigeria provide resources? Because the reason why Nigeria is used most of the time, and even the same as Kenya, South Africa, because people are of the mindset, even Ghana, people are of the mindset that people should go and find their own money and come and do their thing and pay taxes. You open your new shop, Mr. Jackson decide, you know what, I'm going to go to China. I was able to raise 25,000, bring in some jeans trousers to sell. The next day, you're going to have tax people on you for you to pay taxes. There is never a conversation. Since this government came to power, when have they actually gathered the business community from different sectors, right? Let's say we deal with this sector, and say, what are your problems? How can we help you help us? If we are not making money, you're going to have budget shortfall. If we are hurting, you're going to have budget shortfalls. So you need to help us to help you. It's a win-win. You can't harm us and then expect increase in budget collection. So most of the examples I'm giving examples of areas where they work, where government participated with and help, like the vehicle thing we talk about, the innocent, and where this guy came with integrity issue. Do you know the guy that was importing that stuff? Who told you all of the people that were? Do you know how ruthless the Nigerian market is? When I'm in Nigeria, I got not less than 10 bodyguards with me because of the sectors that I play in. In Ghana, I don't have to have that. In Liberia, I don't even walk around with some. So you see, some of these markets are very ruthless. And certain markets, if you have to play big, it has to be tough. Having said that, when you come and say, oh, it's because of integrity, no. These people threw a net and they affected a whole range, and so their people got rich, and for them it is well, in Nigeria, the people eat their own money. In Liberia, foreigners eat our money.
Is Mr. Simeon Freeman's movement for progressive change up for possible merger and or collaboration ahead of our next elections?
We're open. We're very open.
To the extent that Mr. Freeman could be a running mate to somebody.
We're very open. We've never thought that the way to political power is to be egotistical. We've never thought that you must be the president. We always thought that we needed to collaborate, to partner with other people. We're very open as a party. The members of the party agree to that. They embrace that. I also embrace that. We can partner. Who becomes the heir, who becomes the deputy heir will be on the basis of what type of political equity you bring to the table. If you have a lot more popularity than us, we're going to accept that and recognize that and realize that it is a path moving forward.
From your lens, looking at politics in Liberia, do you think Liberians are anytime soon prepared moving from CDC and the Unity Party kind of thing?
Oh yeah. Don't forget now, there was the Unity Party first after post-war elections. There was Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. She went for 12 years. Obviously, that has a significant impact on the country. And then there was a grassroots organization, CDC, that also came to power. So they've had an impact. There is no magic wand.
They've managed to seize the space, the political stage.
Right. So there is no magic wand as to what might happen going forward. The people of Liberia are not committed to any one party, as you've seen. Elections, there have been people that have ran as independent candidates in so-called strongholds of other political parties in Monrovia and other parts, and they've won. You've got lots of independent candidates in the legislature this year. You've got lots of people from ruling parties and other parties that didn't win. So the landscape is changing. The key thing is, how are you perceived by the people? Do they know you? And I think that's what we're trying to do now.
Do you have an MPC legislator at the moment?
Yes, we got one or two of them.
Okay.
And we're trying to get more of them.
Okay.
Yeah, we're engaging. Mr. Fokker Wilson,
who do you have?
A few of them. There's Mr. Barney, and there are 3 other guys that we...
Barney from Basa?
Right.
Okay, you ran on your ticket.
Right. Okay. We have a great relationship with him. There are 3 other people that we trying to engage. I prefer not to call a name until the ceremony is done. Okay. 3 other independent candidates that we're working with from different regions. Then Mr. Fokker Wilson talked about touring Liberia. To talk about these ideas. We agree. Mr. Wilson, very open if you're not currently committed. But if you are, I'm sure Liberia comes first. We're very open to working along with you. And I will take your number and let my people call you and let's have a conversation. We're open to ideas. The guy talked about payment in Nigeria, $15, payment in Liberia, $23. That's something people need to understand. The subscription rate in Nigeria was the same as Liberia, but it was in Naira. Payment is in Naira. Liberia has a dual currency region. So when the naira devalued, I think in the naira almost went to 3,000 naira to $1. Right now it's about 1,500 there, about to $1. So it affected the equivalent value in US dollar, which also affected businesses. But because it's a big market of 211 million people, the business decided, look, should we increase the price of subscription or should we let it stay as is? Since it's a big market, the business focus on growth. I don't control subscription. In Liberia, it's not just in Liberia, it's the same price in Kenya, it's the same price all over. You know, the same rate you pay here is the same rate you pay there. What you must also know with your emission on radio is that you carry on tax evasion, because you're paying to a guy that does not pay taxes. He's a Nigerian guy. He come to you, you put the box aside, you start to subscribe in Nigeria, you support the Nigerian economy, and then you will be the same person saying, well, the government is not billing rules and the government is not doing that, and you're doing tax evasion. So just by that admission, I guess you did it in ignorance, but please don't do that again, and please be a very good Liberian by subscribing to Liberian things. There are things I could do elsewhere, but I prefer to do it here because then it helps the tax authority. Then thoughts on people with disability and technology. People with disability and technology, it's a serious thing. And we are of the opinion that simple things should be done. You know, the last time when I spoke to the guys, things like braids, we don't have those. I think we should have equal opportunities for employment, and we'll make that a public example by making sure some of our key leads in government are people with disability. Because if the government makes that an example, either the guy is physically disabled or he has side problems, I think what it does, it communicates clearly that government is committed to this. We're very much committed to technology. So when you hear us say reduction in government infrastructure, that's it. Think about it. How do you think you have leaks in government agencies? You still have from the Minister of Finance office, you have one messenger taking the paper down to a controller office. These are times of smartphone. The guy just snap the picture and send it to Mr. Jackson. It leaks right away. But if the minister secretary or the minister PA via email sends it and copy the minister to the comptroller general or to the deputy minister, it changes everything. And then if you want to access certain data, you have a whole data room. Those things can be accessed. I'm of the view that we need to have a tier system that changes all of that. We don't have a data center here, and those are things that I want to encourage.
Mr. Freeman, I'd like to say thank you so much. I hope we'll have more of these kinds of engagements. I'd like to say thank you. Finally, what do you say before we can leave you, man?
I want to say thank you to Mr. Jackson. Again, I want to take this moment to commend journalists across the country that support, that come to work. But one appeal I have to make to the journalistic community, we think, and directly to the press union, there is a need for us to encourage the speaking of proper English on our network. Young people listen to our network. You know, all these local Liberian English. In Nigeria, they have the local English, but the media don't speak it on the radio. Same as Ghana. Kenya, they try to use the media for information and education. And I think that appeal, let's try to support that. But again, you guys are doing a fabulous job. And also to the many people that call, thank you for taking up the time. I will be here as often as possible as part of our communication infrastructure to get to you. But more besides will come into your community more and more, so you see more of my face, more of the engagement as we've started in certain communities. Thank you so much.
Do we also have media people who speak good English at least?
Oh yes, you do. You do have media people who speak good English. So in order not to create a bias, I wouldn't want to single them up.
No, you don't have to. I just wanted you to know that.
Right. No. Some of you guys do quite a lot of great job. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Our friends from Ablige Radio in Buchanan, not Ablige Radio, but Ablige TV and the Radio Magic, Prime and Truth FM, and all of our other colleagues who carried this show. We'd like to say thanks to all of you from Pitch Africa. I'm told here and the other institutions, guys. Comrades, I'd like to say thanks to all of you, man. We are taking our usual weekend break on Monday morning. We'll be back here tomorrow. Fatu Kamara is going to be here. All Maka Davis, Fatu and Maka will be here. And that's it, man. Let's keep trying, man. Let's keep trying to resuscitate the economy. Then listening to all sides. DN News was also here, man. Thanks to all of the guys for coming. Okay, have a great weekend. Some people don't like weekends, but I do. I don't know about you. Bye-bye. My name is Piso.